So,
Oh,
here
James can
we
do it.
are with the Frostmoor Crows, episode 10 million trillion and one. Today we are doing an alternate timeline thing with alternate characters because Hankos is away having a life. How dare he see his family? So, with that in mind, and no further ado, let us place our characters. Let's talk about who are we playing first of all. So I was going to say Josiah, but James.
Hello.
Oh,
Tell us
name,
about your
sorry.
character, James.
So I am playing Rothilian Zortooth Zornal.
Yep.
He is a high elf, but he's a bit of a oddball for a high elf. He is a aged mercenary. He is very brash and foolhardy and boastful. And this all stems from a thing that I created in his backstory, where at one point when he was a young elf, he suffered a traumatic brain injury in the field, and it kind of removed his ability to think long term. So he just acts in the moment.
Acts in the moment.
There you go.
Fair enough. Okay. So, Tim, who are you playing today?
Leo, well, Mr. Apples,
Mr.
or Leo and Aplis, however you want to say it, but
Right.
the commoners call them apples because it's easier.
Yep.
He's a dark elf who seemed light. Obviously, he's about 250 years old.
Wow.
Paladin who's running around trying to become the champion of the Morning Lord so that he can remove a curse.
Right.
Yeah,
What's
and now he's just running around dealing out justice.
What's the curse that he's trying to remove?
Afraid that's got to be a secret.
That's going to be a secret.
Secret curse.
We're not talking about that. Okay. Fair.
No,
enough.
he's not ready.
He's not ready. He's not ready, or you're not ready.
No, I'm ready. I've written down this whole thing. I just don't know how much I should spiel. I already think I said too much.
You've said too much already. Fair enough. Okay. Well, last but not least, we have Maria, who is playing today.
So my character is Nithles. They are a Asimar. How do you pronounce that?
I say Asimar.
Asthma.
Asthma? Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Like asthma.
Asthma star.
I say Asimar, and I've always wanted to make an ASMR channel. That was a D&D ASMR channel as well. Because I thought that was cool. Anyway, please go on.
Yeah, so they're a sorcerer rogue. I think their whole thing is that they're not actually aware that they're an Asimar. They think they're human.
Right.
And currently they are basically working as a random mercenary for the Red Ravens Guild, but they're not particularly loyal to them. It's more like they're an independent contractor that takes up some, I guess, short-term contracts with different mercenary groups, and they just happen to be with the Red Ravens at the moment. And yeah, this has been their first big mission with them.
Wow.
That's gone quite badly, unfortunately.
Right. Yes.
And yeah, that's a very, very short level.
Short version.
Yeah, I guess because they'll be quite young, considering they're probably like under maybe like 20 years old or so.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so compared to Mr. Apples, you're a baby.
Everyone else.
You know, I mean, he's literally 10 times older than you. Right. Okay, well, having completed your task, which was to deliver the box to Kagi Mingal, and having discovered that it was indeed a trap, which launched a Shasuva, a fiend of the pit, from the box, you've concluded essentially that it was some kind of Barakyle envoy trap designed to take out Kagi Mingal and probably yourselves as well. But it has failed, and you have defeated the fiend, and thusly you are on your way to returning back to the Banakayan tunnels. Now, I believe that you did actually make it back to the encampment there at the entranceway to the Underdark. And as you're getting there, as you come into this encampment, and it only consists of about 8 or 9 buildings, and they're pretty low buildings. They're pretty ramshackle, I guess, is the best way to describe it. It's kind of like a ghost town, but with people in it, if that makes any sense. It's very decrepit. and it hasn't seen a lot of repair for a long time. You can make history checks if you like.
Great.
History.
Oh yeah.
20.
Wow.
You got a 20?
19.
Wow. Wow.
Oh,
okay.
what? Oh, my group roll isn't working.
I need to do a thing. Where's my crows thing? There we are. Okay. So I've seen a roll from Gimbal in the chat. I probably should refresh this game log. So if you're watching, you're about to see some very disturbing imagery happening on your screen. Don't worry about it. I will restore everything momentarily. It should not take long. Are you in the Frostmoor Crows campaign at the moment, guys? Just to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tim.
Okay, I've just gone. I've just reset. I've gone into the campaign and then I've clicked on my character. So let's see if that works.
Yeah.
But I had a 20, and I'd still like that to count.
Okay.
I
I love history.
I have an 8 and I'm happy to reroll, but you know.
Are you happy to re-roll? Of course.
Did that one show?
Of course you are. I'll give you your 20. Now let's see if that showed. 18 for Leoran.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay. Well, what you realize is that there is an old redout here. There are built into the walls and the entranceway old buildings and even towers outside the entranceway, but they're so decrepit now that you can almost not even see them. They're covered in rubble and dust and shit. They almost look like natural formations. But you can tell that at some point this must have been a very glorious entranceway. Feral Artificer, hey y'all, welcome. That is Avery. So yeah, cool. Thank you for coming. So that's what you see, and as you're coming into the this little community area, you see there are a number of people sort of talking hurriedly, and they look a little bit concerned. Some of the guards that seem to live here. There's a host of about 10 dwarves that inhabit this spot, and a number of other individuals, 1 or 2 halflings, some humans, and oddly 1 or 2 elves who come from the Moonbrook tribe, funnily enough, the Moonbrook clan, who Gimbal might know, but you certainly don't. So yeah,
I've heard the Moonbrooks are a rough crowd.
What does this crowd appear to be doing? Can we saunter up to them?
Yeah, you can saunter up to them. You can make a perception check as you do so, please.
Alrighty. Hopefully my throws start coming through. Perception.
Ooh, 21.
12.
10.
10. So we've got what do we get here? I see the 10 for Leoran. I don't see anybody else's rolls.
Oh,
Oh, what is happening here?
You guys need
in
to
the campaign.
relog your character sheets, perhaps,
yeah.
and make sure you do it from the campaign.
Yeah, I went through that way.
Okay. Okay.
Go start again. Is this coming through?
Not yet.
Hmm.
Not yet. Let me just double check that we've got Nithles, Rothilian, and Leoran in the campaign active.
Okay.
I'm going to reopen the campaign page just to make sure that is working.
My campagons. Frostmoor Crows view. And then we've got active characters Rothilian. I'm gonna view.
Yeah, it's showing I'm in the campaign, but for some reason I can't see the game log, yeah.
Alright.
Weird.
Excuse me.
I couldn't at the start, and then I just reloaded it and it worked.
Right.
It's just weird.
Right, that is a bit weird, isn't it? We'll try reloading it. We'll see what happens. I know that D&D Beyond has been suffering some glitchy shit, basically since all the OGL stuff went down, actually.
Yeah, let's try perception
So
again.
yeah, how exciting. All right, well, let's say, what did we get for our perception text? 10 for Leoran. Do you guys
12.
You got a 12, and
Yeah.
Nithles, what did you get?
My first roll was 21,
21.
but then
Okay, I'll go with the 21.
Sawtooth, you're walking towards a crowd.
Indeed.
Sorry.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You're walking towards the crowd. Well, you guys mostly you just hear sort of chattering, and a lot of it is it's basically in a kind of in a dwarven cant. Who speaks dwarven here? Do you all speak dwarven? Does anyone speak dwarven?
That's a good question. I do. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Neat.
Okay, cool.
I
So-
speak Dwarven.
All right. Well, okay. So you can tell that they're speaking dwarven, and they're also speaking a very. It's like a dialect. You can understand about 85% of what they're saying, but they've got a very strong accent, and you almost feel like the dialect they're speaking is an old version of dwarven. Like they just haven't kept up, or they've
But
been
they're not
left-
dwarves.
Oh, they're a mixture of dwarves, mixture of
Right.
dwarves and humans. As I said, there's an elf, a couple of halflings. There's even a couple of reformed orcs, so to speak. That's
So,
how they look at themselves.
I think
anyway.
Sawtooth is kind of, I'm going to say to his companions, it's like, I'm going to find out what all the hubbubaloo is about.
So
And I just like insert myself into the crowd, and I squat down to get on the level of the dwarves.
okay, so you're listening there, but Nithles, you got a 20-something.
21.
21.
Yep.
And did you speak Dwarven?
Nope.
You do not. Okay. Well, but what you do notice, Nithles, is they seem to be talking fairly incessantly. The one word that seems to come up over and over again is the word TANARUK.
TANARUK?
TANARUK.
TANARUK. Do I know what that is?
What class are you?
I'm a sorcerer / rogue.
Okay. You want to make an Arcana check for me?
Arcana.
DC is 17.
It's a 8.
An 8. You've got no idea what a TANARUK is or what it means or anything like that.
I'm just going to assume it's probably someone's name.
Right, could be someone's
Yeah.
name. Yeah, that's quite likely. In fact, Gimbal, you got the Gimbal apples.
10.
10. Okay, yeah. You hear the same hubble blah 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 going on.
Are all those slaves still with us?
Or what?
Freed
Yeah.
captives. The freed
Uh,
slaves. They're
No,
still with
because
us, are they? Or
we
do
told them to
dispatch
go,
them?
right?
They've kind of blended into this community now, and they're being taken
Good.
care of by the
Yeah, good.
locals here.
Because I was actually going to turn to them and say, "Congratulations, you're all free. This is your new home."
Right.
And then,
What? Okay, so Josiah, you do speak Dwarven, and you are listening. You got a 12 on your perception check, but after
Yep.
a couple of moments, you see them all kind of going quiet as you enter the fray there, and one of them turns to the others, and he says, "All right, enough of that. Back to work." And they kind of start to disperse. You're new here. I saw you once the other night. You came through, right?
Yeah, we did. Passing through on some mercenary company business.
You're with the Red Ravens, is that true?
Loosely affiliated, subcontracting as it were.
Can
You know
be
how
loosely
things be in this economy.
Well, where does your loyalty lie then, sir?
First and foremost, my loyalty is quite clearly to me, myself, and I. And then whoever pays the most.
And how did you get passage through the Banakaya then? We
Well, I
often give-
followed this young lady over here, and I gesture to Nithles.
He switches over to common at that point, so that the other two can understand. So you three then, you all Red Ravens.
Affiliated, yes.
Affiliated. Affiliated. Can you be just
I-
affiliated? to
can
the
I
Red
cast
Ravens?
Divine Sense?
Sure you can. Tell me what it does.
60-foot area, no location of any celestials, fiends, or undead.
Indeed, and there are 0 fiends or undead in your 60-foot
Good.
radius.
I'll squint at this guy.
There's 9 celestials, however.
Alright.
No, just kidding. Alright, you squint at him. He
Right.
squints back up to you in the dying sunlight, the sort of orangey red light as the second sun hits the mountain range and begins to crest. And he looks back at you. We've heard a report
So,
that we'd like to see investigated.
Hang on.
If you're still with the Red Ravens, if you represent them, we can pay you as mercenaries to do a task for us.
What task would that be?
Well, I mean, if you're up to it, that is. It's could be difficult. We have it on good account that those blasted red wizards have made an incursion into the Ungor Ma'ark. They're tampering with souls in there, and it's been said that an ancient creature known as a TANARUK has been, shall we say, crafted.
So do you want us to deal with the wizards, or do you want us to deal with the creature? Because we're talking two separate jobs, I think.
Well, what we want to know is if the report is true, and what the dangers of this, in fact, are.
Well, I mean, let me just have a huddle with my compatriots, if you don't mind.
Of course,
Just
of course.
give us one second.
I'll be over here, he says, and he wanders outside and takes out a pipe.
Polite young man he is.
He's not young, but okay.
So what do we want to do here?
what is a Tanaruk?
It's some kind of form of monster, I would imagine. Teeth and claws, what have you.
I have been mentioning it quite a bit, so I imagine it's something that's quite important to them. So it could be lucrative, and also if we're just doing a information gathering mission, it's easier than an assassination or something of that sort.
So the red wizards are bad.
Don't-
Ask us.
Can I do a? Yeah, I'm just asking. Well, I don't know. Would I know? Either
Well,
I know,
Mr.
or I'm just asking in
Shambles,
general.
I don't think
You can make a history check.
binary form of morality is really too cohesive with our mercenary lifestyle.
Be good to know, though, wouldn't it?
Do you want to make a
Make me feel better.
history check for you, Tim?
I got an 8.
You got
I got an 8.
on a history check. Okay, you literally know nothing about the Red Wizards.
Right. Well, these little people seem alright.
I don't know how you.
Sure, I'm happy to help them. Are they in danger of this?
I think you would know something about the Red Wizards. To be fair, you would know that they exist, and you know that
He's not lying.
they wear red robes, and they come from Barkyle, which is far to the south, and they have a history of being a magical order and a wizard's training school on their island. These are the basic facts. And a lot of people don't trust them for one reason or another, but that's about all you know. You've probably never encountered one before.
So, alright, well, I'll say, we don't have that much. Like, looking at I have 75 gold left on me, and I feel like I'm going to need more.
I
we
could
do
use
this?
some walking around money, so I agree.
Right. Alright, so I think we do this. We stock up, we get some money, we get provisions, and then we go seek revenge. It's just a detour towards revenge.
Indeed. Setting things square, as it were.
And plus, then we're stealing job from the Red Ravens.
Alrighty. Young man.
Little boy.
Over the dwarf. Garçon.
My name is Legard.
And
With the D at the end?
Aye.
There you go. Alright then.
They guard.
Blood Axe.
Red axe or blood axe?
Blood Axe.
Blood axe.
I'm
Alright.
from a place called Dumborin.
And you are a dwarf.
I thought that was clear from my stature and my lush beard.
you'll
Alright,
have to
listen,
forgive my
lush.
underdark friend here. He don't quite see people for their race or their creed. He's very open-minded.
Well, I hope your mind's not so open that it doesn't fall out.
But
Or that the wind blows through like a breeze, like a zephyr through your mind, taking everything with it.
creates a musical tone, though.
I'm sure it does. There are chimes in there that go off. Alright. Now you got questions. Do you think you can do this job or not?
Who knows the most about your tallow might?
What?
TANARUK?
Man,
TANARUK.
TANARUK.
That, my friend, is the problem. We know virtually nothing except that it is an ancient story that we've heard.
Describe
What's the story?
this ancient story, yes, please. What in the story? What does it describe the TANARUK as? Does it have wings? Do we have to look out for flying things? Can it clock? Does it live underground?
It
What
is
are
a
we dealing
great warrior monster transformed out of the bones and from a live orc, in fact, I think. I'm not sure how it works.
So it sounds like it's a form of undead.
Perhaps undead,
Right.
but
Needs to be smoked.
who knows? We only know that the orcs fear the Tanaruk more than anything.
Now, where is the sightings of this thing being? Like, what? Can you point us in a general direction?
He describes there's an Orcan community about 20 miles from here, out down into the desert.
The way we just came.
No, closer to the rift.
All right.
This is why we stop at towns and talk to everybody before we get to our destination. So we get all the jobs that are all in the same place and smack them all out at once. Next time, you guys.
All right. 20 miles in the desert towards the rift, and then what?
Well, there is a township there, an Orcan community, where we have had contact. We have some spies there. Well, we have a spy there.
Well, hang on. Well, you mean like
They
a little dwarf fella dressed up like an orc?
No, my friend, we have an Orcan spy in the Orcan community.
and they happen to be fighting against some orcs with flying bats.
You're talking about the red fangs of Shargas.
That's the one. Yes.
What about them? Have you seen them?
Oh, we've seen them. But I'm
What?
leaving it at that.
Did they want?
Can we
something
rest
with
here
you?
the night? And what? So this town looks pretty prosperous, I would say. What?
Tortuk looks around at the shanty town and the lack of people, and then kind of side eyes Mr. Apples.
Places like these pay well for the remote work. I imagine you have them come in and out every couple of weeks. Anyway.
Mutters under his breath, "You don't need to insult them to their face."
Those holy symbols
what's-
that you're wearing there, sir.
Symbols of the Morning Lord.
The Morning Lord. Is that like Moradin?
Oh, he's better.
Oh, better than Moradin. Oh well.
He's the true god.
Oh well. Well, then I feel that surely your holy calling should be drawing you here to do the right thing.
Yes, you're right. No, you're right. Onwards then. Can I rest here first? I hate to impose on your
No, you
desperate times.
Indeed. There is a small dwelling here for visitors. You can stay in this. He points out this shack, basically. That's barely standing. You'll see it's
A
fairly
palace.
comfortable
Thank you.
inside there. Tidy. He lifts up the curtain and shows you in. There's no door. It's just a curtain, like a brown Hessian.
Oh, this will do
cloth.
nicely.
Looks fantastic.
The interior is just.
I still have my
basically-
donkey.
There's rubble inside it. There's there's evidence of a campfire that's been set probably fairly recently. There's some old food lying around, some grains on the floor, some bones in the campfire.
Indoor heating.
You
Good. Thank you.
there's a you see a couple of shiny things in the corner which you notice, and after a moment you realize that they are little Orcan coins, actually. Just a few tin coins, because they have their own currencies.
I'll take those. How many tin all coins are we talking?
Give me a minute, and I will look that fact up for you. Feel free to keep asking questions, though.
Well, I'm content. Sawtooth, the rest is up to you. I'm going to have a nap.
Well, okay. Well, I need
myself.
a little bit more detail about the job. So we head out to this orcish camp. Do you want us to make contact with this spy, or allow him to continue remaining incognitus?
Incognitus.
Do we need to meet the spy? Does he just have a map for us?
Hold on a second. Just getting you some notes on currency. I'm sticking them in the chat.
Alrighty.
In the
Discord.
actually in the roll stream chat.
I know I have
so
to open
the-
the. Now I'm gonna have to.
Bye.
I'm gonna miss it.
You're gonna miss it. Okay. Well, basically, you find about 8 Oram Peck or Peck,
8.
which are worth
8 pecks.
fuck all. It's like 2 copper pieces altogether.
Ugh, it's trash. Okay.
Aw.
But I'll take what I can get.
Very good. The other thing that you will notice in this town as you're wandering around, as you have been wandering around, I tell you what I will make is investigation checks, or even just, make investigation
Investigation?
checks.
Yeah.
This is just a sort of generic, probably
11.
should have been perception, but I thought investigation was more fun because there's a little bit of investigatory thinking involved.
14.
17. 14. So, okay, so Leoran and the 17 was, that was...
Sawtooth.
Sawtooth. And Maria?
11.
11. Okay, well, Nithles is clearly a bit busy thinking about stuff. But the other two, you will notice that there are a couple, maybe 3 or 4 people in this community sitting around around the back of a couple of buildings. And who got the 17? That was
Me.
You. Sawtooth, you noticed they are snorting something.
Okay. Just kind of I'm gonna saunter up to them.
Yep.
As Sawtooth does, hand on his belt buckle.
You notice they have very reddish eyes, and one of them particularly has red stains around their eyes.
Are these dwarves?
One of them is a dwarf, one of them is a halfling, and one of them is a human.
Okay, I'll just walk up to them.
They look up at you, and they sort of turn away and cover up what they're doing.
What are we up to over here, fellas? We chewing some backy?
They look up at you.
I spit on the ground.
Who are you?
Name's Sawtooth. Just passing through these parts. Thought I'd check the lay of the land.
Yeah, go away. We don't have time for you.
Now listen here, son. I appreciate that you may not want me around, but a bit of courtesy would be a bit better. So I'll thank you that you won't be talking to me that way. Otherwise, I'll be putting you to the ground.
They look at each other and they look at you, and you're bristling with weapons, aren't you?
I got a big halberd on my back.
Big halberd on your back.
Yeah.
They slowly and shakily stand up.
I turn to the guard and just say, "Is it okay if we fight your villagers?"
Looks at you.
Because I imagine we're both standing back as Sawtooth wandered up to these people and just started.
Sawtooth, they start clearing off. They take their shit and they pick it up and they start leaving.
Okay, I'm gonna just grab one by the shoulder. The one that is like the last going.
Hey, get your filthy hands off me.
Well, in a second. I was just
What do you
intrigued.
want?
I just want to know what y'all up to. That's all. I mean, like, it ain't every day you see somebody sticking stuff up their nose. Is it every day you see people sticking stuff up their nose?
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just medicine, isn't it? So you just leave off.
Well, you look about as sick as a three-legged alley dog.
You don't want what
scabies
I've got.
and mange.
He coughs at you. You don't want this.
That man's sick. I
what-
will aid him. Young man, let me touch you.
I've got my medicine. Leave off.
Nonsense. That medicine's clearly do you no good.
He
I
starts-
cast lesser restoration on him.
Okay, so you're gonna knock off a spell slot.
Yep.
All right.
That's my last one.
Surely we'll have a long rest.
Yeah.
He should be grateful.
He looks around at you. What'd you do that for?
By the light of the morning lord, this child is cured.
I do feel a lot better.
Good man.
Now
Whoa.
look, son, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I
I'm
was just
so
intrigued
glad.
to what you were doing, that's all.
You don't want to know. Believe me, you don't want to know.
Well, now you're just making me even more intrigued. You're telling me I don't want to know, and I want to know even more. Look, I consider myself, I like to keep my ear to the ground. I like to understand what's going on. I'm trying to
Look,
keep
I
current
understand that
with
you
what
are a
this younger
stranger here and that you're very, very nosy about other people's business. But getting into other people's business is liable to get you in trouble. So,
Well, that's kind of how I live my life. That's the way that the manner in which I conduct myself. Now, will you be telling me what it is, or am I gonna have to resort to some kind of violence?
some of the dwarves come down from their guard post at this kerfuffle and sort of start making a bit of a circle around this area. What's going on here?
This young folk is sticking some stuff up his nose, and I'm intrigued as to what it is.
Is that any of your concern?
Obviously not, but I just want to know, is that a problem?
It's a problem for you, it seems. Move on, you.
I point to the boy, or the young man.
Uh-huh.
This ain't finished, not even by a long shot. You made my list, son.
He
And
looks,
I walk off.
he looks a bit concerned, but
Mm.
then he wanders off too into the fray amongst the buildings in the ramshackle town. All right.
Goddamn shanty town common yokels.
Should have given. I should
Listen,
have given
you.
him a pamphlet.
Don't come here and start harassing our people, alright? It's none of your business what they do. It's one of the reasons they might choose to live in a place like this is so that they can have the opportunity to live their lives as they will.
I knew this place gave opportunity.
We don't have laws and rules like other places. We have a few, but nothing like the sort you might expect in a big old city. Right? Mostly we police ourselves and we don't need the likes of you coming here telling us what to do.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe we won't be taking this job that you needed done. Ah, friggin'. Oh, I'm speaking too rash. You guys just doing your job.
We're trying.
I
The
apologize.
turmoil of solitude.
I apologize for getting in here, hot on the collar. Listen, I'm gonna go sit down for a while. I think I'm
Probably.
having myself a conniption.
Probably a good idea. Alright, so you go and sit down for a while and recover from your conniption. While somebody does actually bring you some communal stew to feed, if you wish. It seems to be quite thin and runny and consists of not a lot of meat, but the meat that is in there seems to be sort of like the local desert hare.
Bit gamey.
Yeah, bit gamey. Those in the know might find it amusing if I was to call it more deeb, but I'm not going to.
Ask the waiter, the person,
The
if they have any seasoning for it. I've saw some seasoning on some people's noses before, then I would like some as well.
Oh, it's got all the seasoning you might want inside it.
Alright
Don't you
then.
worry, we've got salts, and
That's
we've
good.
got some. She names off like 5 different herbs.
Is pepper in there?
Oh yes.
Oh, that's fine. It's delicious then.
Also,
Delicacy.
there is some mushrooms that have been brought out from deep within the Banakaya. They've one of the staple foods of the dwarves, you know. Yes. As she goes on
Delicious.
to list some other ingredients, can you make an insight check, please, Mr. Apples?
I'm really good at these. Really good at a lot of checks. Got a lot of plus zeros. Oh, 20.
A natural 20.
Hmm.
Well, you realise halfway through this conversation that she's talking complete bullshit.
So there's no pepper.
There's nothing in this stew. This is like there's like a stone and a bone with some meat barely clinging onto it, and maybe some leaves of very common herbs that might grow
Alright.
around these desolate parts.
All right. Well, I'll turn to. I'll interrupt and say, "Well, you appear ill. Come back tomorrow morning, and the light of the morning lord will aid your mind."
Oh, I look forward to that. And she wanders off.
So I think we just got pranked. There's rocks in my stew.
It is stew. It's just
This is-
bad.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know.
Should have got her name.
Hmm.
Sawtooth, how you doing?
Well, obviously I was a little hot on the collar before, and I apologize. I have a
Well,
tendency
you could go out tonight and skulk and find some.
maybe, or skulking's not really my forte. I might just, before we leave, or if we return, just find him in the crowd, perhaps kick a door down, and
Recruit
get what
him.
information I need.
If
But-
we bring him with us, he'll tell us more over time, and
I-
we can sway him.
Let me
The
think on
light.
it a little bit. I mean, I don't really care. The young folks stick up their noses nowadays. I just want to remain current and understand what's happening in this geopolitical landscape about.
Well, what we could do then is I don't know if we're coming back here to get paid or if they're going to pay us now or whatever we're doing because we're mercenaries. But why
When
don't we
have
go?
you ever been paid for a job up front? Maybe a down payment, maybe some expenses. You get paid before?
No, usually they tell me, "Well, aren't you religious?" And I go, "Well, okay, I'll do it for free." They use me. So what I thought we would do is go speak to one of the people we've brought to town, the ones that we've rescued, and we can ask them while we're out to do some snooping for us, since they'll be living in this lovely tenement.
By the way,
Yes.
just want to point this out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ah,
Yes.
lovely.
Yes.
It's nice.
Okay. So,
But you need all of the drawings up now.
I'm assuming that you guys have taken a long rest at this point.
Oh,
We're working on it.
I think we're about to take one right now.
All right. So you're going to take a long rest. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? Well, yeah. While we're lying there talking, what do you think? Do we talk to our slave comrades?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a great idea. And then we can just assign them a job and then head out and do this current one.
Sounds good.
All right. So what are you going to do?
We're going to speak to. We're going to track down a couple of those of the people who were slaves in that Auckland camp that we brought here
Right.
to live amongst this
Yep.
people,
Yep.
and ask them to keep their ear to the ground, just do some snooping. Very light snooping.
Light snooping,
Light snooping. Nothing that would get them in trouble or in danger.
as opposed
and
to
then
heavy
to-
petting.
As opposed to heavy snooping. You don't want to be a heavy snooper. just
Yeah,
a little
we're
bit of
essentially
light
saying no breaking and entering.
Yeah.
No
No-
rifling through possessions, just
Right.
tailing,
Listening.
eavesdropping. Yeah, there
Right.
you go.
Okay.
Every now and then strike up a conversation like, "Oh boy, I sure do wish I could have some bread stuff."
Red stuff.
Find out what the stuff's called,
Right.
and then that kind of stuff. Just find out the workings of the town.
Okay. All right. And so they're going to do this while you're away.
Yeah, they're gonna live here, aren't they?
Okay. And how much money are you planning to throw at this operation?
Well,
None,
I mean,
we saved
to
their
be
lives.
fair, we saved their lives.
We're asking them, since they're here, to keep their ear to the. We're
Right.
finding the most amiable.
Who would like to make a
amicable?
persuasion check, and who would like to help?
I will make the persuasion check.
All right. So you can have advantage because somebody's going to help you, right?
Are you sure you don't want me to do it?
What have you got? I got a +3. I'm pretty
Yeah, plus-
persuasive.
I've got a +4.
Damn it!
+6.
Fine.
Oh,
that was
+6.
meant to be my
Oh.
thing.
Nifley's
Okay,
got a
all right.
+6. Nifley's
Oh.
got-
Well, actually, wait. I kind of thought I wasn't even around, to be honest.
Yeah, you're around. You're in
Yeah.
the room with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
In
would
fact,
you be?
You've
Where
been
are you?
You've been uncharacteristically quiet.
Hang
Miss
on, where
Louise.
has Nithley's
Because
been
you
then?
are screaming. I have to mute myself.
Where has
Um,
Nithley's been? What have you been up to then?
I don't know. Because I'm trying to actually get an understanding of like the layout. Because this is like literally a shanty town, or are
Yes.
we just kind of? It is.
Yes, and it's sort of extending out from what is basically a grand old dwarven fortress once upon a time that has collapsed into disarray
Right.
and ruin. And so this shanty town kind of spills out from the inside of this tunnel.
Okay.
It's fairly well concealed by mountains and hills around it, so no one will see it from the desert. But and there is a lookout where there are dwarves looking out from a lookout. And,
Are the dwarves
Right.
making any efforts to rebuild?
they don't seem to have the resources at
Oh,
this
no.
point. And you also get the impression that they're trying to keep it pretty low key,
Okay.
so they don't want to attract the attention of the Ungol-Ma'ark Empire and have the orcs try and invade them.
They're on a very precarious border here, obviously, right?
They are. Out of game. I'm just going to go powder my nose for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well,
Certainly.
we can. Because I failed the initial investigation check, so I didn't notice any of the snorting going on. That's why I think I'm probably like not really interested in that because I have no idea what the hell's going on.
Yep. fair.
But I think we do need to figure out what we want to do with the freed slaves, and leaving them for this dwarven community is probably a relatively good idea. Well, not leaving them, but like letting them
Well-
stay here and I don't know.
Yeah, for now anyway. I mean, they've got their freedom, right? They can
Yeah.
choose to leave if they want, but I mean, we can't. If we're going back again into the bloody desert, which I don't really want to do, but it's there, then best to leave them here. We don't want to drag them into more shit.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we don't want to have them like dragging with us everywhere we go afterwards as well. I would say, like, even can we just leave them here? Can we be
Yeah.
like, hey, don't follow us anymore. This is you either stay here, or I don't know, figure out your own thing.
I think so. We've done enough for them. We've
Exactly.
set them up.
100%.
They're now safe. They can live in this community, and I'm sure there are like wagons or something that will come by town that will be happy to drag them along. Maybe we leave them some money.
Sounds
I
good.
don't know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Please empty your pockets.
I only got 65 gold.
All right, you have
Is
less
that
than me.
gold?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. I will donate.
How come I have less than you?
I will donate. I've got 75, so I'm not that much richer off. But I will donate 10 of my gold to these people, to our people,
Yes.
and
God,
they
I've got
can.
10 gold. What the fuck?
Oh, you poor man.
What? I only have 5.
All right, so I'm gonna donate 10 gold to the slaves, and they can sort themselves out.
God damn,
Right.
I have a lot of weapons though. What the fuck?
Sell
I
some
think
weapons.
you bought some stuff. I think that's why you have less than us.
Okay.
Oh dear.
A lot of weapons.
Or bribed someone? I can't remember.
But that's them taken care of. So, please, how do you feel about this? Because basically, we're doing more Red Raven work, but we're not actually dealing with the Red Ravens. Is that an issue?
I
Or
don't
can
think
you
so.
be their
Well,
like spokesperson?
technically I can, but we are still technically employed, all of us. By all means,
Keep
we
it-
haven't actually broke the contract yet.
Well, we'll keep this up. We could become our own Red Ravens subsection.
Subsection.
I don't know what the
Subdivision.
technical mercenary term is.
Unit, maybe.
Crew. Yeah.
Hey, crew.
Crew.
They
They were-
did use
Task
us.
force.
They used us as patsies. You remember?
Well, one of them. We don't know who did.
Yeah.
It could be that when we get to the Red Ravens and tell them what happened and the envoy did, they'll be so outraged at this betrayal that they'll join us on a righteous crusade against them.
Exactly. We don't know who betrayed who. It could be
This
anyone.
could be it.
All right,
They'll
fine.
care about us. We were their allies.
All right.
It's
We're
not
headed.
not like a mercenary group's gonna like not care about us.
So
Other mercenaries.
Nithlese is gonna do the persuasion check.
Wait, what am I persuading though? I thought we were just gonna let them go.
No,
Oh.
Get involved with drugs, you know, that's their prerogative. It's not really ours. So...
Don't give them any money then.
I don't condone that. They shouldn't get into drugs.
Anyway, all right. So if we're not
It's
using
not cool.
if we're not using them, then when we come back, Sawtooth is just gonna roughhouse this young man when he finds him. Once we get paid, I'm doing this mission.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we'll leave it as is,
Right.
and we're gonna go and head. Well, we've had a long rest,
Okay, we're having a long rest.
Are
Yep.
we
Good night, everybody.
and
Good
then
night,
in the morning we're taking off to the desert.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
now we would have just had some technical interruption there. I've just I realised that I didn't have my broadband plugged in. We were running on Wi-Fi, so I've plugged in the fiber, the cable, the thing. So we should be good now.
Sweet.
Please continue. Okay, so you take a long rest. Is that right?
You do.
Yep.
Okay, well you wake up feeling refreshed,
Okay.
and
Yes, I have my spells.
outside you can hear the sounds of people going about their business. Mostly at this point they're collecting water, washing clothes, making food and sustenance. A small group has just returned apparently overnight from a hunting expedition. And they
they
have
have
a
those.
few animals around here, not many but a few. Mostly small animals in bags. And so there's people going about skinning and cooking. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, as you get up and wander around, you will wander into Lagarde again.
Yeah.
So, you planning to take this mission today, or what?
Yes. How far is it to wherever we're going?
20 miles, I told you yesterday.
Right, and that is how many how long was that in
No,
walking?
Do we-
look, the
About
thing
8 hours of
here,
walking.
You're from the Red Ravens, right?
Yes.
So
We
you're
all
well
are,
versed in the gathering of information without being perhaps given away or seen.
Yeah.
course.
We can be discreet when needed.
We just want to know what the situation is. What is these Tanaruks? Where are they coming from? Who's really involved? How do we stop
Is there more
it?
than one?
I don't know.
Right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is a purely speculative
Look,
job.
all we know is that some villages apparently have heard a rumour that the Angkor have exchanged prisoners to the Barkile envoy. They've given them Orcan prisoners, and they've transported them away back to wherever they come from in order to make these so-called Tanaruk.
Right. So you just want us to be sneaky, to sneak in, and find out things.
Infiltrate.
I don't know if this is our job.
I think we can do this. This is easy. All we gotta do is head to the outskirts, observe for maybe a day or two, find out what's going on, sneak in the cover of dark, find out a little bit more, sneak out.
Well, why do we have to sneak out? We've got a contact, right? Can't they introduce us, you know, get
I'm not
a way
sure
in
that you're
for
going
us?
to get easily introduced into an Orcan encampment, but perhaps you have any kind of, do you speak Orcan?
No.
I speak Celestial.
Ogre giant?
No?
You'll understand, right?
We're fully prepared for this. We should leave.
No.
Perhaps you're not the best ones for this job.
Well, no. I think we're very, very adequate. I can speak Orc.
You can
can?
speak Orc.
Yes.
If,
Oh, then-
well, What we could do
I
is
turn
you
to
could
my-
send some other scouts,
Mm.
and then when they find out if there are monsters to be destroyed, we can righteously crush them.
Well.
Righteous crushing.
I think this still falls within our wheelhouse, Mr. Apples. I think that we can be of use here. But maybe it's a little more complicated than what this our friend is saying. But I think we could probably at least do a little bit of reconnaissance.
Very well.
Well, right now we don't have any other options, so for us it's a matter of life and death. We need to be able to report this back to the Banakaya and to the kingdom before any further developments occur.
So by us helping you, we are in fact protecting you from this thing that could be bad.
You're protecting yourselves. You're protecting your homelands. This wee tunnel represents the only fast, safe passage through this mountain range. And if the orcs were to take this, they'd have access to all the Banakaya and all the way through to Sedariel to Larathion and the realm of the elves.
It
All
seems
right.
pretty
We're duty bound then.
monumental then.
I would say so.
And in terms of payment, how much
Sawtooth.
do you?
Sorry, go on, Natalie.
Yeah, in terms of payment, how much do you think this would be worth?
Well, I don't have personally a lot to offer you, except to say that I am a representative of the kingdom of the Banakaya.
And what is that worth?
Well, that is worth a great boon, I expect. When I bring this to the attention of any number of our leaders, the Ragnangar themselves will probably reward you, I would say.
So you're saying you're gonna pay us an exposure?
I will pay you an exposure, but I will also recommend you to be rewarded by the dwarves of the Banakaya.
And that's okay.
If we go on this doggle, we'll receive a boon.
I offer you my word.
Alright, on with the boondoggle.
I would expect that the information that you might collect might be interesting to your own personal peoples too.
Perhaps here's a little bit of negotiation from myself. So we'll go do this, and we'll accept your measly down payment for now. But in exchange, you'll give us a full guided caravan back through the tunnels into the civilized realms, and along the way, you can make good this introduction to the dwarven ha-hogs, as it were.
I can do that. That I can agree to.
Now, does that sit all right with you two, my close friends?
Now, I do have one major stipulation for all of this. If you do this task, what you must not do is lead the Banakayan and the Banakayan envoy or the Orcan Empire back here. Under no circumstances can they follow you here.
So is there a different
Route?
yeah, that we can take? Do we have to come back to you?
Can we not meet? Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
cannot avoid being followed, then I suggest you take the mountain range and you go over.
Okay.
There is a way into the mountains from above.
Would you have some form of map?
I can give you a map.
Thank you.
He goes
I don't
about
think-
doing that. And
Any birds going off again?
Yeah, I'm
He
sorry.
does.
Hang on.
No, it's very nice.
those are Australian.
Not nice, it's
birds.
annoying.
Okay, so basically, one moment. Okay, so Beranar Fane is the capital of our dwarven communities. You'll find it. It's the closest to the surface at the top of the ranges. And he gives you a map to find Baranar Fane.
Oh, good. So would it work best then, if since you can't reward us or anything from this town, that we go do this task and then we travel to Baranar Fane with the information, and in the meantime you can send someone to Baranar Fane, and let them know of the task we've accepted.
I can do that. And for your own information, you should note that the sovereign of Baranar Fane is Duramir Brotor Ungart. I'm going to copy-paste that for you. Because
Will he get angry if I were to just call him Duramir?
you'd probably want to call him my lord.
Lord Duramir. Or is it last name?
Lord
basis?
Ungart.
Lord Ungart. Alright then. And is he your size?
Oh my. Oh, that's a powerful touch.
Aggressive typing.
Yeah.
Aggressive typing. That's this stupid mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
So, are we all agreed then?
Could you give us some provisions that aren't rock soup?
See what I can
Some
manage
water?
for you. Would you like a wagon? Perhaps a silver platter and a spoon?
Oh, for a donkey, we need a wagon.
Would you have a cart for the
Nif-
donkey?
Nifley's,
God.
I believe he may be being sarcastic.
Oh.
I can offer you some light, fast horses.
Horses are worth a fortune. Very well,
But
we accept.
what about what's his name?
Bug True.
Bug
Like
True.
the donkey.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can
Will he
take
be
your
able to
donkey
heat up-
if you
keep
want,
up?
or we can look after your donkey for now. I can have
Can
it
you
sent.
send Bug True
then-
to
Baranar
Baranar Fane?
Fane.
Yeah,
Yes.
because if we're not coming back here, we're not going to be reunited with him.
Right, very good. I can do that.
Good. Alright, and we will take the horses. What are their names?
Can we name them?
Yes, of course we can name them.
Out of game, yes, you can name them, and with the stipulation that they are in game and in character and in theme.
Of course.
Of course. Oh yeah,
Because
not
the
just
other
silly
day
names.
somebody named their horse Chad, and unfortunately Chad died.
Oh.
You know.
Okay.
What kind of can we get a description of what kind of horse
Sure.
they are? Like color.
They're tawny brown horses with a little bit of white and red in them.
Mine is now
lovely.
called Nutmeg.
They are quite stocky horses. They're really, I mean, for riding horses, they're really sort of for dwarves to ride, pretty much.
Ponies.
Well, this is going to be weird.
But one of them is, well, I guess they choose the bigger ones that are big enough to actually carry you guys, I suppose. So, yeah.
Because this is a multicultural town.
Yeah.
Orcs and whatnot.
That's right, yeah. That's
All right.
true.
Well, I'm gonna name my Sawtooth names his horse Taraz, which is an Elven word for castle.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 'cause he's stocky and built like a brick shit house.
And you can have inspiration,
Yeah.
just like
Hang on then. Fine.
Boom. I already had inspiration anyway.
that.
I'm sending it everywhere, and then I can put it in my. I know there's
There's
a thing
a
called
horse name
mounts
generator.
somewhere.
Is mine a male or a female?
Horse name generator.
Is it a male or a female? Well, you can. Let's see. Evens, it's male.
Oh my god, there is.
Yeah, there
it's
is.
male. Yeah, I rolled a male horse for you.
Alright. Then my horse's name is Resplendent.
Resplendent is actually pretty good.
We'll go with
That's
that.
It
bit
was
of a
resplendent.
bit of a
Resplendent.
Oh,
Not
bit
resplendent.
of a
but
mouthful though.
That's fine.
yeah.
Well, that's its name. So
Alright.
from now on, it will be a mouthful to call my horse.
very good. A mouthful of
What?
apples.
Oh, I want to call mine Bourbon. This is from the
Float.
horse name generator.
And he needs a float. Bourbon float.
Nugget.
Nugget.
Nugget. Nugget.
All right. Very
The
good.
fantasy
have
horse name
nuggets?
generator said Nugget. Well, yeah, because you can have like like nuggets of
Gold.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I
Yeah.
name it after, because it's bronzish. A
Bronzish.
bronze nugget.
All right, what's that? Get horses. Horse travel. It'll take us like 3 hours to get there now.
Yeah, it'll actually be
Yay.
really quick. Like that's yeah, probably about 2 hours, maybe even less.
Hang on, I'm adding a horse to my inventory.
Oh yeah, nugget.
Don't type in nugget. It's not gonna.
How do you add a horse to your inventory? Can you actually do that?
Go to manage inventory and just type in horse. Look, there's
Oh, really?
yeah, and then you can get special horseshoes for them too. Magic horseshoes.
Is it a draft horse or a riding horse?
You guys can take riding horses.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so riding horses. A
Yep.
good mount can help you move more quickly
Nice.
So
and carry gear.
while you're on the horse, I believe it has a 60-foot movement speed.
It doesn't actually say. Not on the horse gear anyway. I think you must have to go like.
If
Into the
you
manual.
find a stat block for a riding horse, it has I think it's a 60-foot movement speed, and you can dash to 120 feet per turn if you want.
Neat.
With that. Yeah, so that's useful. All right, so thusly you get your shit together, right? And
Yep.
you're going to head off with your 3 riding horses.
Terrace.
Yes.
And thusly you start heading southeast.
Back through the tunnel.
Not back through the tunnel.
Oh, not through the tunnel.
No, you're
Oh, right
going,
then.
instead of, because you left coming out of the tunnel, you went northeast, and now you're going southeast.
Okay.
So you're still on the eastern side of the Banakaya Mountain Ranges in the Angkor territory.
Do you have a map you could show us?
Do I have a
It
map
helps
I
me.
can
It helps me better.
I do somewhere.
Like the world map.
Yep. Give me a minute to arrange that, and I'll find you a map that I can share. Okay, so I think I can. I'll try and share screen from Zoom and see if that just obliterates everything. We'll watch how it is about to fuck up the entire stream.
Might go really well.
It might go really well. Okay.
Hello.
Can you
Oh,
see?
works.
There we
yeah?
go. Fantastic.
Now
Oh,
you
lovely.
guys can probably see it on Zoom, but I think what's just happened over here. Where the fuck?
Did it
No,
crash?
That didn't work at
Ruin
all.
everything.
Okay,
Oh,
so
cool.
I'll stop that share. Did that come back? Yes, it did. Okay, sorry people. That was all a bit weird. What I'll try and do is share it from the maps. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just like this. If you're looking at the stream right now.
Is anyone looking at the stream? My internet can't handle it right now. It's doing a weird
Yeah.
thing where it freezes and screws up a lot.
I got it all up here anyway.
Okay, well, it's fine.
Memorized.
All right. Well, if you know where Van Gate is, and you know where Hemeth Tirith is, which is Highbrook, you'll know that there's a mountain range behind Hemeth Tirith, and behind that mountain range is the northern wastelands of the Angkor Ma'ak Empire, basically. So where you're heading to is between Hemeth Tirith and the Burning Lands, which is kind of, it's north of the Rift, but sort of tucked in near the top of the Rift. If that helps explain anything to you. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
So, well, we have a. Wait, was it?
20
Yep.
miles away.
20
Yeah.
miles.
Alright, so traveling at a fast pace, which I don't know if horses. Because they can't, like, ride non stop, right?
Yeah. you
Well,
have to
no,
take-
unless you're planning on killing them.
You have to take.
No. So, normal pace, you'd get 3 miles per hour. Fast pace, you get 4 miles per hour.
Okay.
So, I reckon with the horse, you could do 4 miles. You'd go 4 miles instead of 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
So
Yeah.
in like 4 hours, you could cover 20 miles? 4 or 5 hours?
5.
All right.
5 hours and we'd be there.
Okay. That sounds reasonable. All right.
Go.
So on your horses, you ride towards this township. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab a thing.
Sorry.
Still
Okay,
here,
the,
just
the
getting
name of the place that you're going
Ear-roll.
is called Thembal Tarn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I will put that in the chat for you as well.
Wait, is this on the way, or is this where the informant is, or?
This is the town in which the informant is in.
Right.
The informant's name is... I'll give you that too. Rozak. R-O-Z-A-K, Rozak. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Rozak. Okay,
Alright.
cool.
Is this town more impressive than Shantytown?
Yes. Yes, somewhat. Okay, so heading in the direction on horseback, you come out of the valley in which you originated from, where the tunnel comes out, and you eventually can look down over the plains, and in the distance you can see smoke rising across on the horizon between a couple of hills. You see in the far distance this massive plain open up beyond that, and there is a river that cuts along next to this township and then winds off to the east. Yeah. You can see evidence at this distance, even though you're quite a long way away, of farming that must have been going on at some point. But can you make perception checks for me, please?
Yeah.
These people seem rather well off. All right.
Please.
Nat 20, 24.
Nat 20, 24.
11.
11. And Maria.
14.
14. Okay. Well, Maria, you notice that that farming community kind of stretches out in a number of directions, and it's kind of geometric the way they've laid it out. And you can see that the nearby hills have got tiers in them, as if they were farming some sort of maize or something along the side of the banks of the river and on the hills there, in these lovely tiers. However, who got the nat 20? That was Josiah?
Yep.
Yeah, I say Josiah, James. You notice that about 70% of that farming land has dried up and is not being used, or looks unusable.
Dried up.
A lot of it's covered with desert now.
Right.
Like the desert is encroaching into this town, and
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, so it's like the desert's just moving further and further into what was once viable land?
Yes.
Is this something that we've seen elsewhere around the desert, or
you haven't really spent enough time in the desert to have noticed this sort of thing before.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that basically the land that's closest to the mountains is the most viable, and that land is being encroached upon from the desert. In fact, you can make a nature check? Anybody that wants to can do this.
Sure. 14 for me.
Well.
Or
Okay, so 4 and a 12, but what was yours?
14.
14. It's interesting to you, Sawtooth, that the direction that the blight seems to be coming from is both from the desert, but also kind of vaguely in the direction of the rift as well.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe the rift had something to do with it.
Right. It's quite possible. Quite possible.
All right, so we're at this town now.
Well, you can see it in the distance.
Okay. And this is
Um,
where
Unresplendent.
our informant is.
He apparently is in this town, and you can see there is a road that goes through the town, a couple of pathways that go off to what looks like now dead village sort of farms and community areas that are no longer used or have been abandoned.
Right.
As you come winding down out of the hills, you don't have a lot of cover, and it is broad daylight right now. It's about 1 p.m. 1 bell in the afternoon.
From where we can see, is there a natural congregation point? Is there some taverns on either the outskirts or the center of town, or like a market or anything?
It looks like there might have once been something like that, but that area seems to be pretty much abandoned. And what you see as you approach closer, how close do you want to be at this point? I was thinking you're like 2 miles away on a hill, looking down into the place, but
yeah, I guess we just stay put where we are at the moment until we decide on our plan.
Okay. There are 2 or 3 main routes into the town. And it seems that they are... You can see guards, but they are few and far between. They don't seem to be really doing much by way of paying attention. You can see in the distance, moving along those roads, you can see I don't want to say a fair bit of traffic, but you can see like 3 or 4 wagons or carts traveling further into the interior of the Empire. And you see a much smaller number of figures walking in the other direction towards along the edge parallel to the rift.
Now,
the rift,
are we
you
being
can't see the
sneaky?
rift, just to be clear. That's not...
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask Sarah and Nicholas, are we being sneaky here, or do we just go speak to the informant in here and then move on to finding this Tupple
TANARUK?
wall? Yeah, the thing.
Well, it seemed like the informant is not going to be aware of us. Is that kind of the vibe that we got from?
That's the vibe. I mean, the vibe that you basically got from it is that the informant has given you the information to bring you here.
Yeah.
They're not really expecting you to make contact with the...
No, plus we don't want to give this person away.
Right.
Okay.
I would expect that we're not. It might seem strange for 3 outsiders just to
wait.
wander
So
in.
this is the town
This
where
is the orc
we're
encampment,
investigating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's an orc encampment. It's
an
all
Orcan
like
town.
okay.
It's
Alright.
it's a large Orcan encampment, or at least it was.
Okay.
But it looks somewhat different because it's not a so much as a caravan as most orc settlements we've come across have been.
This is a permanent residence,
Yeah.
like a permanent set town. This is not just it's not an Orcan warband.
Like you might argue because it's somewhat of a border town, it's more of a settlement to kind of keep its borders or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, it looks like it might have been a trade post.
Yeah.
It's not a highly fortified place because it's still within the borders of the Orcan Empire, technically. But there is, you will see like a barracks. You will notice that there is a training area. There is a sort of a military zone within it. But you don't see enormous amounts of activity. You also see that there is a kind of a tower, which you can make religion checks for.
Sure.
I don't get orcs.
Nah, I got a 10.
Okay.
With what? Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, yeah. You just think there might be some of those might be religious structures, temples or shrines or something along those lines. Although each of those structures seems to be connected to what looks like a small complex, which may include its own barracks for its own worshippers and so forth.
Well, I guess we will try to sneak in.
Is this? Do we know? I'm asking Nithles and Sawtooth. What this town thinks of non-orcs?
Who are you going to ask that?
Nithles.
I don't think. Do I have any knowledge of orcish towns and stuff
You can
like
make a
that?
Should we
history
should have
check.
asked.
You can make a history check, Nethles.
History. 13?
You are... Now you're an Asimar human.
But
Human,
have
yeah,
the
mostly.
have the Red Ravens ever mentioned like these jobs in these kinds of places?
Right. Generally speaking, the Orcan Empire is cut off and firewalled from the rest of the world. The only thing the rest of the world knows about the Orcan Empire is this very big story that the orcs are amassing huge hordes and are ready to pour over the mountains at any moment and attack the elves and take over the world. And that's the propaganda that has been present in all of your lives since you were kids.
Hmm.
Right.
Mr. Apples, you're an elf, right?
Yeah.
So,
Dark elf.
So okay, you're a dark elf, that's right, okay, so it's a little bit different for you. Yeah, I guess that's...
But I
probably
would have
what
heard the
you
weird folk stories of townsfolk, I guess.
Yeah, you know, within the interior of the Orcan Empire, you don't know much about the workings of that at all. You know that they have their own gods and their own currency, they have various factions. You've obviously know about the Red Fangs. The Red Fangs of Shargas. Who got the highest perception check on the town?
Me. I got 24, I think.
24.
Which one?
Little spy glass and
What
Yeah.
what you notice? What's your face? Sawtooth. There are sections of wall, like stone wall, that have been built, or possibly it might be mud actually. And they've been sort of ramparted up, and they surround the town, but they're broken down in many places, and so there's just sections of it left. And on one of those sections, you see this platform, and you see in the distance what looks like a giant black flying creature fly in from the horizon slowly, and then wheel its way down to this town and land on that platform.
Huh. How big?
And you see, when you see it land, you see that there are actually two more of these things there, and you see figures walking around down there as well. And when I say big, it's like the size of a horse or something.
Right.
Wow.
Huh. I don't see that every day.
and see what every day.
I point to the area where I said, it's like, if you squint,
Can you make
Make
a nature check, Sawtooth?
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
Cool.
I was gonna say I can't see anyway. I've
Yeah, I can't remember what I got on that.
got I've got light sensitivity.
so I got a 3. So I got a 3, so it's like,
You're having trouble making it out.
seems to be some form of animated stone gargoyle, I would imagine. Probably fueled by some arcane magic. I would definitely say we require closer inspection just to verify what I've seen.
Alright, so do I march into town
Okay.
and we see if they arrest me? And then you two can spring me if I get arrested.
Seems like that will cause more work than save us any
Okay.
time.
Well, I'm open to ideas. I'm not good at these sneaky things.
Well, none of us can speak Orc.
Nope.
And
I thought you could speak Orc.
You speak Orc.
no, that was a lie to get the contract.
Oh. Oh, well, you convinced me.
Worked
I
really
can speak
well.
giant.
Oh dear.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
So none of you speak Orc.
No.
Okay.
Wait, didn't Sawtooth, you spoke.
Dwarf.
Dwarf.
Oh, dwarf. Sorry, they sound the same.
Is it? So we can see like into the village, right? We can see like
Yeah, you're
the
looking down
inhabitants.
at the range of about 1.5 miles, something like that, from a hill. It's all very brown and deserty
Yeah.
in all directions.
Right.
It's like
And like what
scrub.
we know of orc tribes generally, like they're
Yeah.
not very accepting of visitors, and they don't really trade or communicate with outsiders.
Not a lot. You've heard that there are some tribes in the far north that trade with human barbarians, but and that's a fairly new development. In fact,
But this is not one of those.
Yeah, Akagi Mingal is one of the tribes that does trade with human barbarians, actually, the Mingali. But and you visited them recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can tell from what we see of these guys that they're not going to be the trading kind.
Not the trading.
What if we
kind.
said we were representatives of Kagi Mingo?
Well, they're not orcs.
What you can see is on the outskirts of this town, there is a small kind of hamlet that's broken off from the town, like about 1/2 mile out. Still 1 mile from you, but 1/2 mile from the town.
Let's go to that house.
It looks pretty quiet. You don't see anybody there, but you think there might be cover, or you could even hide there or locate yourselves there without being noticed to, unless somebody's really looking for you or they saw you coming or something like that.
Okay. Do we go... I'm asking the group, do we go to that house during the day or the night? Because remember last time we travelled at night we got attacked by flying bats. As opposed to walking bats, of course.
So we've got a couple of options. If we do anything at night and we get caught, it's definitely going to look really suspect, and then we'll probably most likely have to fight our way out. If we do anything during the day, we've got the ability to kind of attempt to almost reason, but...
Almost.
Yep, you're right. Day trip. We go down now.
And just wander in?
To that little hut, yes. Or you two go be sneaky and investigate it, and I'll stay back a safe distance.
Yeah, I'm not really good at sneakiness myself.
Surprisingly, me
At
neither.
least you're not.
No, I'm good +1. I'm good at deception, apparently.
I'm good at intimidation, so we can just shout at people. Stealth.
Okay, all right. Well, how about this? All right.
We're not the good
What about
mission.
we don't go with sneakiness. We go through the means of deception. So we already look like we're a wolf band. We're armed to the teeth, and we're heavily armored, riding on horses. Why don't we come across that we are mercenaries tracking an escaped convict that may have been seen in this area?
But we can't talk to them.
I'm sure that one of these folk, these aren't barbarians, one of them will speak common. Anyone here got a parchment and some paper? I mean, the parchment is paper, but you know what I mean. A quill, some form of ink, I don't know.
Rummaging.
What's my random garbage?
Candle, incense. I have a censer, some vestments.
How do you
Holy
say your... Oh, thieves' tools.
I have some manacles. We could tie you up in Sawtooth and pretend we're escorting a prisoner.
Through into the rift?
Yes.
Hey,
Oh, yes. We can
greetings,
say we're...
Vancouver by night.
Hello. We can say we're taking you to the Tallaroo.
Tanaruk?
TANARUK?
But if they know more about it than we do, we're gonna look mighty foolish if we're
I mean, they will know more about it because we're trying to get the information on
exactly. So what about this kind of situation? So all I'm wondering if we got paper is we draft up some kind of mockery of a wanted poster or something along those lines, or do we actually have a contract scroll from the Red Ravens that we could just use as a?
Yeah, you do have a contract from the Red Ravens. Yeah.
And do we imagine that any of these orcs will be capable of reading the eloquent tongue of common?
It's There's a chance.
You don't know.
We don't need to. We can just wave it around. Say it's a
I mean-
it's a poster. We're
Can I-
looking for a dwarf.
Can I get another perception check from you guys, please?
Yeah.
Can any of us draw?
11.
perception check. Oh, disadvantage 20.
Wow.
Why did you get a
I rolled-
disadvantage?
I rolled
Oh,
two
in the
17s
middle of the
because
day,
it's
that's right,
Middle of the
yeah.
day in the desert. I can't
no.
see shit.
I got 16. You got 2 20s, damn.
16.
Two 17s. And
All
plus
right.
Maria?
11.
11, okay. You're busy talking, obviously, and thinking about all
Yes.
this stuff. Josiah, what'd you get?
16.
16, okay. Well, you notice Mr. Apples looking at something, and then you look up to see what he's looking at. And what you've seen, Mr. Apples, is in the clouds, sort of about probably a mile away, or a bit less than a mile away, you can see this black shape flying vaguely in your direction.
Alright, time to go. To the hut.
What you can make an investigation check now that you've seen this, both of you.
Okay. 18.
Nope.
18. Okay, so
Yep.
well, Mr. Apples, you don't know what you're looking at, but Sawtooth, do you remember fighting some orcs that came down flying at you?
On bats?
casting
Yeah.
darkness on bats. You're looking at one of those guys.
I guess once I realized it, I'll be like, dang, a bat in the middle of the day. Who would have thunk it? Is it coming? Is it barreling towards us?
It's not barreling towards you at all. In fact,
It's
what
fine.
you
Okay.
get the impression that it's doing a very long-range scouting mission circling the town.
Ah, okay.
Circling
see
the
us.
town at a range of about a mile.
Are we sneaking? Because I mean, I'm covered in plate armor. Oh no, chainmail. So I don't know if light just bounces off me.
Well, you can cover yourself with your cloaks and,
Yeah, okay.
and clothes and things to mitigate the shininess somewhat.
Mm.
You know, like maybe 85% of it.
Yeah, okay.
You could cover
do
yourself
we-
with a bit more stuff if you wanted to really go hard, make a real effort. You could mitigate the shininess altogether.
Eh.
So
Too much
anyway,
effort.
what I reckon is we don't go through the idea of trying to sneak in. Let's go in aims to say that we're trying to track down some kind of a escapee, some ranger from the elves or a dwarven miner who committed some kind of atrocity. Think they may have been running this way, scared from civilized society. I don't know. We can make it up as we go, but that's the general framework. That way we can say we're just checking to see if they're here. We're not aiming to do any, harm, and we'll be on our way in a day or two. Thoughts?
I just feel like it's going to be very hard to convey without being able to communicate with them directly, but...
Can any of us draw?
Sort
What
of.
skill would that be?
Yeah, what-
I would probably get a performance check for that. I mean, unless there's another. Hang on. Let's...
Okay, I'm gonna pick up a stick and I'm gonna attempt to draw a dwarf that an orc would understand, and then the thing to see if I should be the one doing this. And so my performance check is not acceptable.
Not
To
acceptable.
7, I draw a very racist caricature.
You could use sleight of hand. Actually, would also be a possibility. That'll give you your proficiency bonus if you have it, and a dex.
I drew an even worse caricature.
Okay.
I made the nose even bigger or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think sleight of hand is the check for this.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense. I will try, and I will get a 12.
A 12. Okay. Not that great, but
Well, I think it looks mighty fine to me.
It's
We just need to
legible.
agree on a name.
Legible.
We could say that his name is Gloomin
Oh, Shanks.
Rosh.
Shanks.
Sounds reasonable. What do you think?
So what has he done?
He's killed some folk, and
Who?
he's run some villages.
Well, what did they ask? Oh, how will they ask us? Yeah.
Godfair was in self-defense.
Yes. Did he have a fair trial? Do we know? I mean, do the orcs care?
No, I don't think they do.
We just don't want to be caught out, you know? We don't want them to ask us a question and we can't answer it.
Alright, so we are a party of mercenaries tracking down an escaped convict, a dwarf by the name of... What was his name, everyone?
Or check.
Bruno.
Bruno Groshank.
Roshank. And he has killed some folk and escaped from the mountains due east, which is where we is.
Right.
We are aiming to track him down, take him back, for a trial or an execution of some manner.
Yes.
He is a average-sized dwarf with a beard and black hair.
Is that what I drew?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall we? We're adding it now. We've got.
Let's go look at that small hut first.
Yeah, but we're aiming. Are we aiming to just ride straight in, or are we sneaking around first?
We go through. There's a small, like little, hut thing outside of town, about a half-mile out. So if we go there first, get a little bit closer, and we can just think this whole plan through.
Okay.
All right. So what is your plan? You're going to descend down to the small hamlet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to make any efforts to conceal yourselves while you do this?
No, we're not aiming.
Not really, no.
Because we don't want to appear like we are attempting to hide anything.
I don't know if we should or shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know about orcs.
What do we know? I mean, last
Let's
time...
try to conceal ourselves.
You are?
And then if we get caught, we've got a cover story.
Yeah, so we didn't want to arouse stuff.
Alright,
Okay.
so let's make a group stealth check. Somebody can make the check with advantage because you're all working
Well,
together.
I have disadvantage on stealth checks, so it's got to be a neutral.
I've got a +1, and then do you want me to just roll it?
It'll just be a neutral because I disadvantage everybody.
Yep, you can roll with advantage, Maria, but with your +1.
A 15?
15, okay. Cool. Alright, so you descend down the hill, and as you come into this fairly small sort of side town, it is clearly abandoned. There is a well, but it looks like it might have dried up. There's a few rodents and what have you scurrying about, a number of insects. You can hear the sounds of the insects calling out across the desert in the day sun. What time is it now? You left quite early, so it was about 1 o'clock, so it's probably about 2 p.m. now. 2 bells as you get into this little town, and you can see you can see a number of the buildings have been smashed, the doors have been smashed off. The whole place obviously is built in an Auckland style, so it's largely made of mud and wood. And the wood looks like it must have been brought here from somewhere else because you don't see a lot of trees around here. Yeah, so what do you want to do? You want to hit up one of these buildings, or are you going to camp in the street?
One of the buildings?
Yeah, let's look through the building.
Knock
right?
on some. Yeah, we'll knock on one. We'll bang on the door.
All right. Nobody answers. There's no response. Tumbleweeds float down the street past you as you break into this smashed up place. You realize that the interior seems kind of boarded up. Anything worth anything is long gone. There's a few bits of broken furniture and a few bits of smashed crockery and things lying about. You don't see anything of any value though. There are some stairs that go up to another area, but that appears to have collapsed already, so there's not much point in that. And in the center of this large room, there is a kind of pit that has evidence of a fireplace and possibly some sort of communal activity.
So this used to be. I'm just spitballing to the guys. So this was part of the town until that desert mate kept destroying their
Can you make
vegetables.
Can you make an investigation
Farming.
check, please?
All of us or just apples?
Alright, we got a 4, so not me.
All this 9.
Plus a 20.
Hey.
Hang on a second. Okay, so you got a. Let's get our perception checks sorted.
Oh, is it
9.
investigation or perception?
Oh, sorry,
Ah.
investigation. Yes.
Okay.
9.
9
Plus
for
a 20.
apples,
4.
plus a 20 and a 4. Okay, so Maria, your character notices burn marks and scorch marks. You notice places where it looks like there has been actual violence and conflict in here. You can see evidence of things being smashed by, people. Somebody's done this. This is not just the desert encroaching. This is some kind of actual violence has occurred in this location.
Hmm.
And there's no signs of
there's-
any living people
Nothing
around?
like that. No, there's no corpses or anything like that. But there are some dark stains on the walls and places, and on the tables and on the floor. And I say tables, I'm talking about sort of smashed up stone tables.
Okay. Well, it seems like there was some trouble here. But can I tell how long ago? Like, does it look like there's dust settled on any of the rubble?
Yes,
It
it
was
looks
a while.
like it would have been, at the very least, a few months ago.
Okay.
What I will get from you guys, however, is an initiative check, just in case we have any combat.
Okay, alright.
Well, what I will do then is I will just simply be checking my divine sense.
Checking your divine sense.
21.
And again, your divine senses: celestials, fae, fiends,
Undead.
undead. Okay, none of
Would
that.
he pick me up
None
if
of
that
pops
was
up.
the case?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I think so.
You would, eh?
As an
yeah.
Asimar.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Celestial, yeah.
You know what? Yes, that is true. But I mean, it might be a bit muted. But there's definitely something about Maria's character that is.
Do her eyes not glow?
Do they not
what?
glow?
Yeah, don't ASMR.
Is it the same?
I thought it was obvious. I thought ASMR were pretty obvious.
Wait, hold on. Let's have a look.
Well, the thing is that
And
you
we were just
wouldn't know
playing
what
cool.
an Asimar was, but you would
Right.
know that she's got funky eyes.
That's true. I wouldn't know what she is. Yeah, right.
There are
I
very
was
few,
going, "Yeah."
very few Asimar in the world. So yeah, you might have a clue that she's got some kind of celestial blood or background
Yes.
or
I
something.
have
think
pupils.
if anything, I've now come to the conclusion that she's been sent by the Morning Lord to make sure I am righteous.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I am in the wrong.
Interesting.
Oh right, initiative check.
Hang on. But before you do your initiative check, let me just
Damn it.
make sure of a thing. You can keep
Sure,
your
doesn't
numbers.
count.
I'm happy to keep your numbers.
Damn it.
Once this is loaded, I can run this. Okay, Vespera initiative. Vespera, what the fuck? This has still got the wrong fucking player card. I just edited this goddamn encounter. Come on, work, will you please? Stop fucking me around. God.
You're gonna get removed from Twitch soon if you're not careful.
I know, right? Okay, oh my god.
Can you
it's
not swear
still
on
doing
Twitch?
this.
I don't know.
Still doing this.
I think
No,
you
you can swear on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
Why edit the fucking encounter, please? Save the encounter, please. Come on. Can I start it? Oh my god, it's still doing it. What is your problem? What is your problem? Oh my fucking god, this is unbelievable. Okay. This is really pissing me off now.
Oh, D&D Beyond, eh?
Yeah, it's
Is it on
really
Beyond?
being an asshole today. Really just can't help being a fucking asshole. Just,
Should we take a break or something then? Maybe for.
why is it giving me all these wrong characters? Hang on, here we go. That's what the problem is. I fixed it,
Yeah.
I think. Let's try this one more time. Okay, now we're ready for your initiatives. Okay, Sawtooth,
21.
21. Nithles,
16.
16. Leoran,
8.
8. Okay. Alright. Cool bananas. Alright, so
Now then.
you're inside this building, and it's kind of dark, and there's some light coming through the various cracks from different directions, from both of the suns at present. Outside, the moons sit on the horizon, hanging over the Banakaya like big white marble blotches amongst the clouds. And you just made an investigation check to see if there was about this damage, basically. And I will get a perception check too now.
Cool.
Is this one-story house or 2?
It's a 2-story building. It's
Or on the first floor?
does not seem to
Bottom
be a
floor?
house. It seems to be more of a community hall or a tavern or something like that.
Okay.
19 on your perception,
12 for myself.
12 for you. And
21.
sorry, Maria, what was it?
21?
21. Holy shit. Okay, so Nithles and Mr. Apples, you both hear the sounds of marching boots outside on the street, approaching from a distance.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Where's that? You have the piece of paper, Sawtooth?
Nithles has it.
Yes,
Alright.
the poster, yep.
Now
Guy's
we
name
will
was-
all remember our story.
We're here. We're bounty hunters, and he's Bruno.
Bruno?
He's a bad man,
Grimshank. Bruno Grimshank.
and he's a bad man, and he's a killer.
Yep.
And we're gonna capture him.
All right. Let's not be discreet. Let's wander out there and be very open about what we're doing.
Well, I thought we'd stay inside.
Yep. Wait, but why are we here then? Why did we...
We're searching the abandoned building for this man.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's good.
Yep.
We don't speak Orc.
All right, so we'll make it not like we're hiding per se. So if they walk in, we'll be very open. But let's see if they find us, right? So everybody, look like you're doing something, like looking for a guy.
Okay, I'm going up. All right, I'll go upstairs. No, I won't go upstairs. That's a bad idea. All right. I'm looking under this cabinet.
Okay.
So we're gonna
He's
occupy
dwarfy
ourselves
small.
with discreetly looking through the building as if to make it look like we're looking for somebody, and waiting to see if the boots approach us.
Can I find any more Orc coins?
Orc coins. Yeah, you find a few more pecked.
All right. Hopefully after 3 coffer.
And after about less than a minute passes before the doorway is filled with orcs entering, and they stumble into the room pointing their spears at you. There seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and the 3 of them seem to look like pretty standard orc soldiers. They've got spears, and they've got great axes, and they seem to be quite aggressive looking. They're wearing hide armor, but the 4th one seems to be wearing ringmail and is carrying a shield and has an eye patch over one eye. They immediately spin up what you may recognize or not as a spiritual weapon. A greenish blue glowing spear begins to appear as they step in, and they start speaking in gruff Orcan tones at you. Chubakara, Sigak, Chumakaka.
Well, we
don't speak this.
we raise our hands in a display of
Stop that.
in a display of not holding weapons, and we go.
I'm not raising my hands.
So you're a
Well, I'm raising my hands and I'm saying, "Good morning, gentlemen," or "Good evening."
This one-eyed orc woman who appears to be wearing quite a lot of jewelry as well as chainmail and a shield, and has this magic weapon, the spiritual glowing spear, floating next to her, and she's carrying a real spear too. She kind of comes right up to you, Sawtooth, speaking and spitting in Orcan. You've no idea what she's saying, but she's right up in your face now.
Now, I can tell that you're obviously very impassioned about whatever it is you're saying. However, you may need to slow down and throw a few licks of common in there, because otherwise I'm not going to articulate what you're saying.
She steps back.
Alright,
She steps back.
I'll try something in undercommon too.
Yep. You don't get any particular response from that, but she does step back and indicates to the door.
I think they're
The
asking
guards-
for us to leave.
The guards step aside from the doorway, basically making a little passageway for you to get out.
Okay, I'm gonna point to the door. I'm gonna point at us and nod. Okay, we'll just amble on out quietly.
Tibok Gur Tumbat.
Mr. Apples,
Yep.
Nithales, we're gonna just meander out very quietly and just not make any sudden moves.
All right.
And I'm gonna make sure I don't turn my back to them and walk out.
As you do, can you make another perception check, please?
Oh, perception.
19.
19.
Is it bright in here or is it dark? Still dark?
It's dark
Darkish.
inside, but as you step out into
Alright.
the light, it will be brighter.
Is the perception check for outside or inside?
You can do one for each if you like. So one.
Okay, sure.
a
Inside
normal
was
one.
11.
Okay, so you don't notice anything.
Outside
on the
was
outside
5.
Okay. What you notice is that as you're moving outside, the cleric woman, the one with the one eye, we'll call her an Eye of Grumpsh because that is what she is.
Yeah.
She seems to be casting some sort of spell, like a cleric spell, on 2 or 3 of her companions. None of you are clerics, are you?
Nope.
None of you have any real...
I'm a paladin. I'd recognize
you might
a
actually...
bless.
Actually, you know what? Yes, you do. You recognize that she's blessing her companions as you leave.
I'm going to bless myself and my companions at the same
Okay.
time.
All right, that's fair. And
Good.
your check for outside was a 5. Did the other 2 want to make perception checks? As you...
Yeah, I got a 19.
You got a 19.
14.
14. Okay, well, you both notice the red fang of Shargas descending vertically on their flying bat into the dusty street about 30 feet away, kind of behind you. So you've got this cluster of orcs by you at the door, which you've just spilled out of, and then 30 feet out into the middle of the dusty street, a black giant bat is descending and landing with a red fang on its back. And you can see this orc with red painted fangs, or tusks, actually. What do you do at this point?
Well,
Well, Tooth, let me know when I start smiting.
Well, I'm
It's-
assuming that they can register what we're saying, and I'm going to quickly look at all the orcs if they're following us. If any of the words
Are they escorting us out, or they just kicked us out of the house?
They let you come out first, and then they step out behind you and kind of fan out around you into a
Right.
kind of an escortish type of arrangement. The Red Fang dismounts their... you know what? They don't dismount, actually. They stay on the bat. And they call out, "You strangers, common!"
Oh,
Ah!
Ah, fantastic! This makes this whole thing a lot easier. Yes, we strangers common.
The true tongue.
Ooh.
Not our true tongue.
The tongue of the morning lord.
You are deep elf. pale, tasteless.
I have nothing to say to that.
Terrifying, just deplorable, really.
But that means you wouldn't want to eat me.
Take them
Well, wait, now hang on. We're here
to
on
the
business.
city.
Well, under
We are
what
bounty
pretense?
hunters.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
They start surrounding you and pointing their spears at you and prodding you to move.
They don't care that we're bounty hunters.
Well, let's just wait. We don't mean anyone any harm. We're just
I'm
passing
getting poked.
through,
Why
trying
you
to-
come here, strangers?
We're looking for a dwarven criminal who's escaped to these lands.
We find them for you. Deliver
good.
skull.
Great.
Well, perhaps you'll find him, but then if you find him, we won't be able to get the reward. You see, we are warriors of fortune, as it were. We need to capture this dwarf alive so that we can earn a bit of coin. You see the conundrum we're in?
Can we wait in your town while you find him for us?
The Red Fang exchanges some Orcan phrases with the leader, the Eye of Grumsh, and they continue to surround you, and then the Red Fang calls out something in Orcan, pulls out a horn, blows it, and then flies off on the bat.
That was the only guy we could talk to, wasn't it?
The Eye of Grumsh steps up closer to you. Oh, Maria just dropped out.
Oh, Maria. Maria, you've dropped off. Okay.
I'd say it'd be weird if she didn't notice.
She'll be back.
Alright, well then we get prodded in. Yeah?
Okay. Well, they escort you down this avenue to the actual city, to the actual township, and as you could tell from afar, it is indeed in disarray. You can see places where there is still evidence of a fairly large attack that must have occurred at some point not too long ago, no more than a few months ago, based on the amount of damage around here. Some of the walls and buildings, especially on the outside, seem to have been suffered quite heavy burning damage, and so a lot of the roofs are gone, that type of thing. And as you get further into the town, you start to get a lot of people looking at you. Orcs, child orcs, adult orcs, orc farmers, various orcs. Guards start to sort of collect around you, and they march you through the town. Where eventually you get to a large reddish mud brick building with wooden reinforcements. And large spikes coming out of it in various directions. You sort of think World of Warcraft, Orcan kind of style. Oh, yeah. And they lead you into this big wide room where there's a number of orcs going about doing things. And they exchange words with guards. People run off. Somebody's gone off to get somebody, you assume. And a few minutes later, you find yourself in the presence of what you can only assume is the local Orcan leader. And they start speaking Orcan at you, and the other orcs respond with a bunch of words which you continue to not understand. And they go and fetch manacles.
I think this is going bad for us, so the less we say.
Well, excuse me.
I have my own manacles.
Do you anyone here speak any common?
One of the orcs, an elderly-looking female orc, steps out from what appears to be a kind of group of... they might be some sort of council or something like that. And she steps in your direction and she says, I, Shivak Gotokan. I speak your bitter tongue.
Well, that's fantastic. It's lovely to meet you. Present circumstances not including.
She spits on the ground.
Rothilian Sornil is my name. This is my good friend, Mr. Apples. And Nithili's here, the quiet one. She's just she's having a tiny little bit of a conniption herself at the moment. Now I think some things are starting to spiral out of control here. Would we be able to plead our case with your lovely chief Kimasabi up there?
I would like to not be manacled.
You would like to not be manacled?
Ah, yes.
Well, they are approaching you to manacle you. What do you do? Two soldiers on either side of you step up to you. One of them grabs your wrists while the other one attempts to manacle you.
I resist.
You resist.
I want to shake him off. He's trying to grab me.
All right.
I have blessed my. Oh no, the bless would have worn off by now.
All right. You go to do that. He's going to make a. He's going to try and restrain you. So he rolled a 6, so he's not going to probably restrain you very easily. But there's 2 of them, so the other one's going to try and restrain you as well. With a 7.
Do I need to do a check? No.
Okay, you may need to
What's
make an
this?
athletics check to avoid being restrained.
Hang on, I missed.
Make an
Hello.
athletics check.
Hello.
Athletics.
Hi, we can hear you, Tim.
We can hear you.
I'm back. Okay, sorry, I
You're
missed all of that.
You never
yeah,
left.
you were there the entire
You're
time.
talking the entire time.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
well,
just-
you all froze on mine. You all froze on mine.
So you're making an athletics check to avoid being restrained by these Auckland soldiers.
7.
7. Well, okay, you're going to need to do it again because that's a tie.
Okay.
So let's go.
25. Not 20.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you pull away from the orcs, and they're kind of impressed actually. But another 2 of them step up behind you now. So now you're surrounded by 4 orcs who want to restrain you.
Keep going. I mean, they're gonna run out of orcs sometime.
All right, I cast darkness on the ground.
You cast darkness on the ground in front of you.
Right underneath me. Right underneath me.
Moments later, dispel magic puts that away.
God damn it! Morning Lord, take you all!
When the magic is dispelled, the Eye of Grumsh stands in front of you bearing her fangs.
Now you can see that we're quite capable warriors, which leads to our case that we are here to track down a criminal. And may I add that we are part of a mercenary company that will be expecting our return.
Can you make a persuasion check with disadvantage, please?
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on myself, so a shimmering field appears around me. And it starts being all glowy and impressive.
It's a 16 with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, that's a
Yeah.
16. Okay. All right.
Are we
As
still
you're
talking
speaking,
to the guy on the bat?
No.
No.
This is, oh yeah, we
We've been
got
marched into
dragged.
town,
Yeah.
Right.
and they're trying to shackle us now.
you're in the basically the chieftain's chamber, and they're trying to put shackles on you. Yes.
And they speak
We,
common.
No,
One
one
does.
of them speaks common, an old woman.
Yeah.
from the
we
council.
demand a fair trial.
And as you say that, Mr. Apples, you hear somebody in common with a fairly cultured voice speak the following words. A fair trial, lords and ladies of the fair folk.
Mm-hmm.
And do you...
Look around to see who's speaking.
You there, the true leader. Where are you?
You look around
the door.
to find that you're in the presence of what appears, to all intents and purposes, to be a wizard of the Barakyle envoy, with 2 apprentices. Human.
Oh.
A human, 3 humans, in fact, between them. They have tattoos on their faces and strips, almost like hieroglyphics, and they have no hair, and their skin is very ashen and pale. They appear to, it looks like makeup that they're wearing, and their robes and what have you. And he has a staff that he's leaning on. One of the apprentices looks like they might be a young girl, and the other one's a fairly strapping lad, actually, for a wizard. Quite big. And he steps forth. Now,
Call off your goons, wizard.
these are not my goons. I merely cohabitate here.
Well, why can't we cohabitate? Habitat. Live.
Habitated.
Your first mistake,
Habitate.
my friend, is that you've come into a place where you do not speak the language.
And as unfortunate as it is, we did perhaps hope that there would be some among who did. And look, fancy this?
Please, show him the picture.
Oh, I pulled out the parchment. Have you seen this dwarf?
Just give me a minute whilst I...
Prepare for battle.
One moment, please. Okay, so what did you do? You...
Show the parchment with the dwarf drawing.
We're just
Right.
panicking at this point.
Yeah. Have you seen this dwarf to the invoice?
Right, he looks at the parchment. I see. So you have come here in search of this criminal.
Mm-hmm. We
And
believe he's been passing through these this area.
we have
They did not warn us
seen-
that these orcs would be so inhospitable.
We have seen no such dwarf here. You should
He's good at
leave.
hiding.
I'm
Well,
sure.
that's all we came looking for. Well, we imagine if he's ain't in this town, he's probably headed further east towards the rift. Some kind of madness has bespoke him, which is why he killed as many folk as he did.
And the reward must be most excellent then. For you have
Well,
endangered your
adequate.
lives considerably coming here.
Well, we didn't know this was a orc encampment. We
How
heard there were
could
orcs
you
in
not
this
have
areas.
known that? Are you completely ignorant?
Well, but we ain't, I guess, the sharpest of the butter knives in the drawer.
It's our third day.
Hold
Sorry,
on.
what's your name? Oh, elderly wizard.
He says.
Wise one.
He says.
One who has befriended the orcs.
You may call me Bilazan Tagruk.
Well,
No.
Bilazan, you have any advice as to how we can?
Yep. Pause everything for a second.
Yeah.
Paladin, Mr. Apples, can you make a wisdom saving
Yes.
throw, please?
Yes, I can. I'm so wise.
You
Is
can-
it to be charmed?
It's not a charm. Can we make
Okay.
a perception check for everybody
Fuck.
as well? Oh, that's a
5.
Okay. Okay, so hold on.
Divine Smite, Channel Divinity, Oath Spells,
What are your surface thoughts right now, Mr. Apples?
My surface thoughts are they just going to kill us? Do I need to start smiting? Why is this man? I'm not going to be shackled. We're not staying here.
Alright. Fair enough.
Time to be a smiting.
Nithalese, can you make a wisdom save, please? As he turns his attention to you.
Oh, saving throw. A 7.
What are your surface thoughts? Like with stream of
Um,
consciousness in character.
Okay, what was the last thing I said? Oh, with a
It's your third day.
It's our third day.
You didn't know there'll be orcs here.
And there'll be orcs here, yeah. And I was like, well, they're orcs not.
Sorry, what? I missed.
I couldn't understand any of that.
I got that.
You
Is that
should
just me?
be doing good.
Say all that again.
Oh no, I'm.
No, you keep coming through. Yeah.
Frozen though.
Yep.
Okay, you're not coming through anymore.
All right.
Okay,
Maybe
there
you
you
can repeat for us, Josiah, while she fixes it.
She was talking about how she said, yeah, it is her legitimate third day in her opinion, and that she doesn't really know anything about the orcs in this area, and she didn't really like the condescending manner in which the man talked to her.
Well, I feel like he'd be able to figure out that we're lying about what's his face, the Brunor.
Right.
Well,
and
surface thoughts are,
Surface thoughts,
what,
yeah,
what
I
you're
like-
reacting to your
Sawtooth, can you make a wisdom save?
yeah. Okay, let's have a wisdom save. Boom. I got a 19.
19. Okay. All right. He looks at you curiously for a minute there, Sawtooth, examining you, and then he turns back to Mr. Apples. Mr. Apples, can you make another wisdom save? This time he's going to try and go deeper. He can do this as an action, basically, after casting the spell.
Oh fuck! 11.
11. Okay, so now that he's looking a little bit deeper into your mind, I think it may be...
Hey, if I save, is there any, like, am I aware that he's attempting to probe? Is there any effect on...
If you pass it, I think you do know that he's trying to.
Yeah, I think that's fair. However, Mr. Apples, you now get to tell me about your emotional state and something that looms large in your mind that you're worried about.
Emotional states is starting to get very anxious about the entire situation,
Okay.
and what's lurking. Oh, what's lurking deep in my mind? Now, how deep are we talking here?
Well,
For deep for this entire situation, like deep for the day,
This-
would be that I've.
yeah. Yeah.
It would be that I've been, that this whole thing, this clearly lying and pretending to do this was not the righteous thing to do, and we're paying our comeuppance.
right, so you're feeling pretty uncomfortable about the ethical sort of situation.
The ethical implications of what we've done.
Right. Okay. And he looks you up and down. He says, I feel that you are not being entirely honest with us as to your motives for being here. You should be careful. Many strangers found in the wastelands about here find themselves being shipped to the Ungorm Ark gladiatorial training schools in the west.
Fascinating.
Mm.
Well, it's very difficult to think with a bunch of orcs attempting to manacle me.
Well, you
Is
did
there some?
walk
Can we do this
into-
calmly?
You did walk into their town, my friend.
A deserted portion of the town.
The wizard
outside
raises his hand and he speaks to the orcs in Orcish, and the orcs all back off with the chains and the spears, and they back off.
All right. Well, that's good.
Perhaps I can be of assistance as your translator and perhaps even your advocate.
Well, that would be mighty kind of you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Now, what is it that you need to communicate to these people?
That we didn't mean any harm, just looking for somebody, and then if he ain't here, we'll be on our way.
I see. Well, he goes and has this conversation with the orcs in Orcish. And after about 3 to 5 minutes, he turns back to you. He says, the orcs have agreed to send out their spies and soldiers to look for your fleeing convict. You are welcome to stay here for 3 days. You have my protection. After that, however, I cannot protect you any longer.
Thank you very much.
Mighty kind of you, sir. This is you are truly an advocate for. Where did you say you were from?
I myself come from the Barkyle.
Ah, and that was the Southern Islandish area.
Yes.
Never been there myself. I've been all over, but never to there.
I see. Well, perhaps you should come and visit sometime.
Well, that would be mighty gracious. Are you offering?
We should love to
your
show you our hospitality.
Indeed.
Am I still being mind probed?
Are you still being mind
Are
probed?
we?
Well, if it lasts for a minute, so by now it's
Oh.
probably stopped actually because we've been talking for
Alright,
a
well
while.
that's good.
But were they able to read our minds in the whole minute that we were?
Yes.
Surface level thoughts.
Well, no, actually, yes, surface level thoughts, but he did probe more deeply into Mr. Apple's mind.
He
Only
knows.
him, right?
He
okay.
knows. He knows.
Well, can we go somewhere perhaps a little less intimidating with all of these
Yes.
orcish folk around? You've got a quarters here, I assume?
Indeed, I do. An excellent idea. Do
Oh.
follow me.
Thank you very much, Bill. Very kind of you.
Bilizar and he and his apprentices, after a brief conversation, lead you back out of the Orcan war tent or chamber, and he takes you to what looks like actually a pretty decent accommodation. When you go in, the outside of it looks pretty ramshackle, but once you get inside, you realize there's one room has been turned into a little herb garden, and there's water in here, and there's plants growing. Another room seems to be some sort of strange temple space, and you can make a perception check as you move through the building.
Certainly.
Perception.
16?
So many single digits.
Huh?
So many single digits. 7.
7, okay. So somebody got a 16, yeah?
That was me.
I got 18.
You got 18, okay. Well, you notice as you go past one of the rooms that it seems to be filled with candles and drawings and diagrams on the walls, and the floor has a big circle and some markings there. And the room smells of incense and just a little bit of sulfur.
Mm-hmm.
Sulfur.
It's a little bit stinky.
Yeah.
Alright.
And where's he leading us to now?
Right, well, he takes you to a private quarters up on the second floor of this building, and it's very nice. The apprentices go about bringing jugs of what appears to be foreign wine, and they bring you food and things, human food. I mean, to be fair, it's Barakyle food, but it's human food. And it's very lush, you know, there's a lot of grapes and grains and things. Not a lot of meat in there, but there seems to be some sort of protein filler made of something you've not had before.
Soy.
Seems like a vegetable or something
Oh, yeah.
like that.
Or if it's Soylent Green.
Right.
So, Bilazar,
Yes.
do you mind if I ask what brings someone like yourself, a very cultured man it appears, to what is the Orcish wildlands?
Yes, that is a most excellent question, and I'm
If you don't mind me prying.
glad you asked. He says, the place that I come from, Barakyle, I belong to an order of wizards. We call ourselves the Barakyle Envoy. We have diplomatic relations with most nations and peoples, and it has been my task for the last 5 months to inhabit this location as a go-between or a diplomat with the extended Orcan Empire.
I see. And how have you found these people? You seem to speak the tongue quite proficiently.
Yes, I did spend years training in it before coming here. How do I find them? They seem to be amiable overall, perhaps disillusioned with their empire's lack of resources, but
Now we've been traveling through the this area for a few days now in search of our quarry. We happened through an encampment a little further north.
yes.
I'm not too au fait with the politics of the area. What is this encampment's affiliation?
Here, this encampment.
Yeah, well, we were with a when we passed through, we only observed. We didn't really liaise with them too much. Now, what were their names again, Mr. Apples?
Kind of. This Raffles is pretty uncomfortable about this whole situation. I don't even know if I saved those notes. I'm sure I must have. Hang on. But how long ago did we play last? 12 clerics, dragon maze. Nope, I've lost it.
Well, anyway, we detail who we saw there because I just want to know what tribe these people affiliate with.
Okay, these people here are largely affiliated with the Kigalva'a.
Kagi Mingo.
Yay!
What
That's
are they?
right.
It's the chief.
Out of game, what are you saying about Kagi Mingo?
Well, no, because
that's
he's
who we're-
asking.
Yeah, that we saw an area up north, which was the Kagi Mingal.
Can you make an insight check, please?
Okay.
Boop, 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 boop. 8.
Oh, that's pretty good. 23.
23. Okay, the 23. You're not sure what to make of his expression when he hears the name Kagi Mingal. Something happens on his face, but you're not quite sure how to read it.
His eyebrows are too weird.
Lack of eyebrows.
He doesn't have eyebrows, maybe.
Oh
Lack of eyebrows.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
That would make it so difficult, yeah.
That would,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
What an excellent way to avoid insight checks.
Advantage on inside checks. I've got no eyebrows.
You do notice, however, you will notice that he wears an amulet and several rings, bits of jewelry, so on.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we detail that we saw a Kagi Mingal tribe, but we're only in the area shortly, and we didn't
What is the
mingle with them.
location of this tribe? You say north.
Yeah. And so to the best of my recollection, I give the directions to the Knoll area.
To the Knoll area.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you make a persuasion check, please? Or a actually, not a
deception?
deception check, yeah.
Okay. That 2 is so close to a 20, isn't it?
Oh, no.
A 3.
A 3.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Took
so
a minute
so
too.
You, so
Took
you
a
do
few
that.
seconds too long.
You do that thing. Very good.
Yep. Yeah, and then so he was saying that they belong to a different different entity in the Orcish political landscape.
Right.
Are they part of the actual empire? Because the Kagi Mingo was an offshoot, right?
Kagi Mingal is a rebel leader.
Yeah.
It's a person.
As far as you're aware, she's the main thorn in the side of the empire.
Right.
now.
Okay.
This empire, the one that we're currently fucking in.
That's,
Shit.
That's correct.
That's hilarious.
That's great.
Maybe you should not give the location of her out. to
Why? I don't.
people
Oh,
that
we
are-
don't care. We're not doing anything with them.
Yeah.
It's not very righteous.
I guess it's true.
I don't care. Fucking.
I guess I wouldn't care either, yeah.
Look, I'm just saying. In character, Rothvillian doesn't have any affiliation to them. We met them when they were amicable, but I'm not gonna go out of my way and hide where they were.
Do we know anything about Barrack Isle in voice? Like, would our characters have any,
You can make a history check.
okay.
I think we discussed that in regards to Mr. Apples. He doesn't know much about them.
18.
18. Okay, well, I guess given that you're a sorcerer, you have a fair concept. You know that they have the most famous wizarding magical school in the world that anybody's aware of. It's very hard to get into. They don't accept foreigners very often. You know that they have diplomatic immunity and embassies in most city-states and nations around the world. You know that they wield a significant amount of power, and they are known to be among the best wizards and magicians around. Highly respected, highly feared.
Right.
You know that they have slaves in their own world, in their own country. And in some places, their diplomatic immunity allows them to keep slaves even in places where they shouldn't or wouldn't otherwise be able to.
Oh. Right. But generally, I guess we're not pro or anti Barrackile, right? We're pretty.
Yeah,
we will be pretty neutral.
You're pretty neutral.
Okay.
What you can do is make another perception check. Anybody that's here.
Yep.
Yeah, alright.
That one.
Huh.
A nat 1. Okay.
10.
Well,
20!
Nithles, you're noticing that there is something of a squabble going out on the street. What the hell? That looked like a massive
Oh, bring her
microphone.
in!
She just ran up because she realized I was eating popcorn and she doesn't like popcorn.
She doesn't
Whenever she hears
like
the
That's
rummaging of
weird.
like a packet, she runs over because she likes shapes and chips.
You
Excellent.
feed her shapes? It's so bad.
I do because she likes them. She only ever eats one though. She's reasonable.
Okay, right.
Anyway.
There's a commotion
So there's a
outside.
commotion outside you're overhearing, and you can hear Orcan voices and Orcan speech outside. And then you can
Is there a
hear-
window?
There is a window. It's just a shuttered window. There's no glass or anything like that.
Yeah.
I open the window.
You open the window, and from the window you can see there is a small gathering of rather angry, aggressive-looking orcs gathering around the entrance to the building that you're in, and you can see 2 of the Barrackile envoy apprentices downstairs just holding them back, speaking very quietly and calmly to them.
We seem to have ruffled some feathers by our presence here.
Yes, your presence will ruffle feathers all the way to the center of the Empire, I expect.
Is there anything we can do for them to help them put them at ease?
Do you
A
think
quest.
they might be hiding the dwarf fugitive
I doubt
that we're after?
If they have found your dwarven fugitive, he will have been taken into slavery by now, I expect. He would possibly be on his way to Angkor. And we have not had any records of any strangers being encountered recently.
Okay, just checking.
But you say this dwarf is in the area?
Mm-hmm.
Very
Well,
well.
last seen heading off this way towards the rift, shouting, babbling, and some madness about Maglubiliat or some such thing.
We are not far from a physical structure called Maglubiat's Maze.
Well, fancy that.
It is an interesting structure. It is about the head of the rift. Maglubiat's Maze is a kind of geological structure that has been there for thousands of years since the rift occurred. The landscape is like black glass, a kind of maze of black glass. It said,
Now, it's very funny that you say that because the dwarven man, the fugitive, he was a miner and he uncovered some kind of black glass while mining and he just changed his personality overnight. They must be heading there.
well, it may well be. It may well be. I shall go and speak with these folk for a few moments. I shall be back. And he casts a spell, and for a moment there's a flash of light that comes from inside of his hands, and something poof, pops up out of his hands and disappears. And then he walks off, leaving you here. Nithles, can you make an Arcana check?
21?
21. You get the impression that he's cast some sort of what would it be? How do I explain this? Let me just say, Nithles, you feel like you're being watched.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And
We're out of our depth, guys. What are we doing?
he goes downstairs. Now, you guys made perception checks, didn't you? And you noticed the sounds outside, but somebody got a natural 20 on their perception check, didn't they?
It
Oh,
was,
me.
Was that
Yeah.
you?
Oh, it's dirty 20.
Dirty,
Dirty
20?
20.
Okay. Well, with your dirty 20, you also notice there's a pile of books in this room and scrolls and very intricately carved wooden desk and furniture that must have been carried or shipped here somehow. It's definitely not Auckland. In fact, everything in this room seems to be quite expensive and nice and of human or possibly in some cases elven construction, but mostly human.
I turn to you guys and then just say, just letting you know that we're still under surveillance. So.
Right.
As would be expected anyway.
Mhm.
So
What do we do?
Well, we've got a couple of days while we're going to be in this town and while they're searching for this fugitive. So we can make ourselves comfy and I guess keep our ear to the ground and make sure that we hear anything about the fugitive, then we take note of what the fugitive may be doing.
Mhm.
I'm going to alter something very slightly here. That whole business where he cast a spell before he left,
Yeah.
I'll take that back. Instead, when he leaves, a hawk lands in the window.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Would that still be an Arcana check? Oh.
You don't need to make... with your Arcana check, I guess you can recognize the hawk as a familiar.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah. What happens if I try to touch it?
If you try to touch it, what would that do to what?
Oh, what would it do? What's its reaction?
If you
to
go
being
over
touched?
to touch it, it jumps up on your arm.
Oh. Hello, friend.
Aw.
It looks at
Oh,
you
nice.
and it looks around the room at everybody.
I don't have any snacks.
Meanwhile, you hear the person that you're talking to, Bilazan, he's speaking to the orcs downstairs. Is anybody watching out the window while it's going on, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I'll go back to the window.
You can make a perception check too.
Oh, it's bright outside. Damn it.
Someone else
it's with
wants to go
disadvantage.
outside? 11.
Yeah. Okay. He talks to them for a few minutes, and then they kind of begin to dissipate. He comes back
Okay.
inside after. Yeah.
So while
I'm uneasy. Just so you both know, I'm uneasy with this entire situation.
Who can
That's
blame
all.
you? This is
Yeah.
we're essentially being held captive for the next 3 days, but we just need to prove our case and then make sure that we can get out of here and tell everyone that we couldn't find the fugitive.
Right. Right. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So after a few minutes, do you do anything in the room while you have the room to yourself?
Yeah, I guess I'll wander around, but not do anything that is obviously too like Snoopy, just in the manner that you might like look around your surroundings, right?
Okay. Do you make an investigation?
What were those
check?
books? I'll tell Sawtooth to go look at those books on the table. They looked impressive.
Hmm.
And scrolls.
Yep.
Investigation.
Yep.
Natural 20, 21.
Natural 20. Okay. What you find is, first of all, a ledger, which is written in Orcan and in a common dialect, which you kind of can sort of read. And from that, you kind of get the impression from this ledger that there's some kind of exchange going on here. Slaves are being sold to the Barakyle by the looks of things. Orcan slaves are being shipped through here. And large amounts of money are being exchanged for these slaves.
Is it orc money?
It is Orcan money, yeah. And you're gathering that each one of these slaves, they're paying like a couple of 100 gold pieces worth of Orcan currency for. And so far there's been about 6 of them moved through here. There's a whole bunch of other slaves on the list as well, but they don't really even seem to be... they're obviously much less important.
Yeah.
The other thing that you notice, Josiah, is a bunch of... Out of game, what's going on is that he is spending a lot of his free time copying scrolls. And so there's a stack of scrolls, but you probably can't read them.
Yeah.
To be fair, so there are like magical components and material components and things for that business, but
you mentioned on the way in, we walked past a room that looked like some kind of like summoning room or candles in a circle on the ground.
Yep. There's
yeah,
like
it smelled like sulfur
hanging in the entranceway.
Did that remind me at all of the appearance of the fiend that we fought in the encampment?
In and of itself.
Oh, like I guess when that fiend appeared, was there like a burst of sulfur smell along with it, or anything along those lines?
Yeah, there was a burst of sulfur smell along those lines.
Okay. So I could, in Sawtooth's mind, I think he's drawing a correlation between like the idea of a summoning circle and
fart smell.
You know what? Why don't we get Sawtooth Sornel to make an Arcana check?
Oh, okay. Because we also there was a wizard that was hiding in that area, right? Was it a wizard?
He fled.
Or was it a fiend?
No, it was a demon. It was a demon.
Yeah. Arcana. Oh, another natural 20. 21.
Wow. All right. So yes, you definitely can draw that correlation.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's me for now.
All right. So the wizard comes back inside again. Balazan. I have spoken with the orcs outside. I have quelled their concerns for now, and I have bought you some time. 3 days to find your fled fugitive, I suppose.
Fugitive, yes.
In 3 days for us to search, or are they searching? Can we leave this area?
I would say that you can leave, but I advise you against it. I suggest that you allow the authorities here to do the work and bring you the fugitive. If
he still is in the area, and not already chumming up in Maglubiot's labyrinth.
Yes, well, I strongly recommend against that too. There is rumor of a dragon, a blue dragon, who makes Maglubiot's maze his home.
Blue, you say?
His name is Mesariah.
Not friendly.
Noted.
It is said that Mesariah breathes lightning upon those who invade his territory. Or her territory.
Alright, well, let's not do that.
Well, what can we do?
Unless we have to.
Yeah, I mean, are we capable of walking around while we're in here, or are we...
If you stay inside the town and you do not start any trouble, I suspect things may go fairly smoothly. I would keep a low profile if I were you.
Okay.
Well, we thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Yes.
May we ask one more favor of you, perhaps?
Well, before you do, I offer you this. I am going to write you each a note of passage that will provide you with my protection for the next 3 days.
That is very kind of you. And if we could possibly, and I do bear quite humbly, impose on your hospitality a little bit longer. Are we able to potentially stay here, or shall we bunk in the street?
No, you may stay here, of course. I have guest rooms for you, if you wish to stay.
Shucks,
where might I pray?
As he starts leading you down the stairs, will you come with me? I will show you about.
Fantastic.
And as you go through the building, you see that the two apprentices are moving all of their shit out of one room.
Oh.
And one of them looks a little bit put out, but not too much. Not enough so to do anything or say anything or even really give you any kind of... They don't even give you a dirty look or anything. You just got the impression they're like put out.
Yeah.
They're not being rude about it though. And so you find yourselves together in a room with 4 bunks. Your horses, by the way, are in this local stable as well, so he's going to keep an eye on your horses so they don't disappear.
Oh, good.
Great.
And so you have this room to yourselves on the second floor. Did I say it was a two-story?
Windows?
Is there a window? There is a hole in the roof, like a fire hole, to allow smoke out. Yeah, but no windows. You can come out to the hallway, and from the hallway there is a shuttered window just outside your room.
How would these orcs feel if I were to spruik?
If you're to what?
Rook?
What?
Spruik? Spruiking. Preach the word of my lord in the streets.
Well,
Can we just go back to that? What the fuck is spruiking? I've never heard that term before.
I thought
Is it an Australian thing?
Hang on, well now I don't know if I'm being crazy or not. Spruiking.
You are crazy. We know that much.
It's like there's people who are on the streets selling shit. Yeah, speak in public, especially to advertise the show. Yeah, spruikers. Spruiking.
That's bizarre. All right.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You taught us a word.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All the way
It's
from-
Australian.
Okay.
This is informal Australian slang.
Alright, there you go.
informal.
Spruikers.
Okay.
That's not a thing anymore though. Not many people spruik.
Well,
Okay. All right.
in answer to your question, Lord, the orcs are unlikely to be able to comprehend your rhetoric.
Yes. Yes, very good point.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any holy books or things that I may offer to have my apprentice translate on your behalf that could instead be left with the chieftain here? No, never mind.
I have a holy symbol I could give him, but that's
How's he
mine.
gonna translate that?
That's my symbol. No, I don't. No, I don't have any texts.
Well,
I
if
really
you-
should have brought some.
If
I
you
was
have
going to spread the
any
word.
word of mouth stories or otherwise that you would like to impart to one of my apprentices who will record it in Auckland for you.
Oh, that's good. All right, may I have a pen and paper to start writing?
All right. Very good. So you get some parchment and some ink and a quill, and you're set up with a little desk to do that.
I'll get to that. I'll light some incense and I'll scribbling away.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. James, what are you going to do over the next period?
So are we talking to the next 3 days? Or are we talking the
Well, we're at least talking until you guys bunk up in the room and
Okay.
make a crazy plan to escape out the window and climb over the city.
Yep.
And,
I guess I will. I think Sawtooth is actually quite taken with Vilazar, and I think I'll probably try and spend a bit more time talking to him once everyone's done whatever they want to do in the next time.
all right. Anybody have any plans, requirements, needs to be met? Side questy things.
Well, I don't think he really wants anything from us, like any help with anything. He's just kind of like keeping an eye on us for a few days. So, I mean, if he leaves us alone for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you've
So,
got
like,
your
us-
own room, isn't he? And he doesn't.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so then, yeah, it's just a. All right, so what do we do? What do we do now?
All right, yeah.
We're essentially in prison for 3 days, and then what?
Well, I think we got to do whatever reconnaissance that we can do while we're here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got to come up with an escape plan.
Okay. Did you see anything in the notes of the books?
They're selling slaves, or they're buying slaves from the Orc Empire.
Right.
I got to do this in character, otherwise it just seems the ridiculous isn't there.
Yeah.
It seems like they're trading slaves with the Orcish Empire, Barakal envoy. And one thing I did notice is on the way in, did you folks see the wee little what would you call it, a scullery cabinet filled with candles and circle on the ground?
It's not unusual for wizards, isn't it?
That sounds very wizardy.
Well, the one thing I noted was, you recall the horrible stench of rotten eggs when we were fighting that thing that popped out of the box.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
I imagine.
And did you catch a whiff of something rotten in the tower?
No.
The sulfur smell?
I missed
Yeah.
it.
Well, maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but I couldn't help but connect the dots.
So then he's summoning the monsters here.
It could be the
Tanaruk.
the
I got
TANARUKs, possibly coming straight from here and from this wizard, which is strange because he seems like such a nice guy.
The slavery papers are damning.
Well, yeah, I mean slavery put aside.
You don't put slavery aside. It needs to be brought to justice.
Well then, seems like you may have made an enemy.
All right. So when do we attack him? Can we arrest him and take him with us?
Probably not here.
And thing that perhaps you don't know is coming from living underground is that these wizards they're all over the world and they're able to keep slaves no matter where in the world they are.
Disgusting. All right.
Right.
Well, he's been courteous enough. And would be arrested by now if it weren't for him. And locked up in an orc dungeon.
Yeah.
So find out anything else we can, I guess.
And then think about how we're gonna escape.
So who stalks Balanar?
Bilazar.
Stop him.
Bilazar. Yes. I figure since we've got 3 days, one of us could just follow Bilazar around for 3
Well,
days.
you know we're being watched as well. Like it's,
Exactly. So if we're with him, then it saves him the trouble of having to spy, and it might distract him from the other two. I think we need to split the party.
Well, I'll follow him around. He seems to be quite taken with me. I'm not gonna stalk the man. I'm just going to try and insert myself into his life during the next 3 days. And as I have a habit of talking a lot, hopefully that'll distract him from whatever anyone else is doing.
Ithles, do you want to talk to one of his apprentices, and I'll talk to the other?
Yeah, sure. I guess.
You want the handsome man or the
Well, should we have
stunning woman?
somebody? Can we actually walk? So we can't leave the area. Okay, we can leave the area, sort of.
We can walk around town. We've got this paper.
Well, then wouldn't it make more sense if one of us goes out to town, and then the other
Yes.
one talks to the apprentices? Because in that case, I don't mind walking around town a bit.
I'll talk to the apprentices then,
Mhm.
because I don't speak orc, and I
crap.
think I'd
Oh,
struggle
but-
out there.
I think I'll be fine.
Alright.
Okay.
Definitely.
Very good.
All right. So we have our game plan.
Mhm.
We're ready.
All right.
What do they have to eat? Oh wait, no. Here we get good food.
Yeah, we have
We already had good
vampire
food.
Yeah.
Delicious.
You've had good food and wine, bread and cheese.
Mm.
Basically anything that can be stored one way or another you have available here. Probably food here that you surprised managed to make it here.
All right. Well, let's go have a little more cheese
All right.
and a bit more wine, and
Alright.
then get to work on
So
this.
Bilazan comes
on our
back in
house.
again. He says, I should like to introduce you to my apprentice, Thagramon.
Is this the attractive looking one?
Sure.
attractive. Are they not both attractive?
They're both very plain. They both bald. They both have ashen skin, and they're
I'm
covered
sure
in-
you said that one of them was attractive.
I said one of them was a
Thagramon was
woman,
fit.
and one of them was a tall, well-built man.
Yeah, well built.
Well, yeah, they,
That's what we're ready.
there you have.
He's not
I hair
handsome, he's not
attractive.
handsome.
You heard
fit.
attractive and okay. all
No
right.
eyebrows, well built.
buff.
No
brow.
eyebrows, well-built. That's attractive.
I like
Tats
all
all
my names
over.
to look like the
Nice
the,
and pasty.
Nice
the
and pasty.
Protegeans from Prometheus.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Alright, so is Thagramon the built guy, or The
yes, he is the big built guy. Yeah.
All right then.
He
Maybe call you Thag.
says, "My name
That's
is
just for everyone's frozen on
Thagramon."
mine.
No, we can hear you.
Uh-huh.
No, you can't hear us.
Okay, hang on, I think we're back.
All right.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
can you hear me? Check.
Yes.
Check. Okay. Cool. So he says, "How can I assist you? I do speak the Orcan tongue, of course, and I can assist you with any tasks that you have about the town, if you wish."
Oh, well, you can follow me for the day. You can follow us for the day.
Yes, Lord. I shall do so as Master commands.
Lovely. For all 3 days.
If you wish, my lord.
Well, we'll see how your first day goes.
Excellent, my lord. I shall follow.
Well, that's fun. Sawtooth, did you want to accompany us?
I'm gonna put my feet up and rest around the tower, if that's all right with you. Maybe have a conversation with old Bill over here, if he doesn't mind.
I'd stop calling him that.
Billazar, Billazan, Zar or Zan?
Billazan.
Billazan.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, please. Want to come for a walk? With
Yeah,
Dagramon?
alright.
All right. So where are you going to go?
Take us to the slave pens.
Very good. He takes you to the slave pens, and you walk through the township to one of those big mud brick ramparts. And on the back of the rampart, on the interior side, there is a big slave pen, a big pit, a number of cages. There's like a auction block. There's a lot of carts and wagons.
How can we do? Can we have a tour of the slaves, of the slavery?
Tourist.
A slave
Is
tour.
that the word?
It's like a
Slave tour.
right.
I'd like to see how they're treated.
Okay, well, very good. You go about and you realize that they're treated in different categories depending on what type of slave they are. There's at least 3 or 4 different categories. So you have your common house slaves who are okay treated. They're not terribly treated, but they're fairly low ranking, but they get attached to a household or what have you, and they're kind of okay. They're not badly off. They're no worse than sort of peasants or serfs from that point of view. In fact, they have quite a lot more stability in the sense that they know who they are and what they're doing and what they're for, and they don't have to worry about the responsibility of paying the lord the tax and all of that stuff. Then you get the gladiators, who are worth a lot more than they are, depending on their rank. And you get labourers, who are pretty cheap. You get other kinds of slaves that are more, shall we say, of the pleasure variety.
Alright.
And there's a number
Fun
of
slaves.
They come in different categories too. So anything in particular that you're interested in, or you have any questions about?
I mean, so like, is it when we talk slaves?
Mhm.
I would ask Dagramon what one has to do to become a slave.
You wish to become a slave?
No, I'm curious as to how they ended up slaves
Ah, I see.
in this society.
Well, many of these orcs come from a slave caste. They were born to
Oh.
slavery. These humans...
Born into so they
were-
may have never done anything wrong, but they're just born into this.
Yes.
Mm.
Some of them are criminals. Some of them have been captured in battle. So they are war prisoners, if you like. Others simply prisoners. Others have been purchased and brought here. Others have been captured from their tribes. It is not for me to judge the Orcan customs.
Mhm.
My own people have a long history of slavery too. I realize that it is not something all nations and peoples can accept. And I understand that. Which is
Are
why...
they treated with respect? Do they often seek to escape these kind of slaves?
Oh, not often. The Barkyle envoys' slaves are most excellently treated, well fed, and cared for.
Okay. Interesting. What about these ones?
Well, again,
Orc slaves.
it
Beds.
always comes down to one thing, and that is the owner, the master, and their temperament.
Okay. So if a slave were to be in trouble, would he be executed? Would they get some kind of trial? Would there be some kind of fair treatment?
Depends which.
If their owner accused them of something.
In my own society where I come from, that is indeed the case. Even slaves have certain rights as mortals. Here, life is cheap, and depending entirely upon the slave, one may have more or less repercussions to one's actions. If a very famous gladiator was to kill a soldier, they may well get away with it. If a farmhand slave was to kill a Angor Ma'ak soldier, they would most certainly be executed. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. That does. Anyway, I'll keep bugging him about slaves for a while. So,
All right.
That's what.
That's fair.
Until Nitalise gets bored.
I'm going to leave this. Am I allowed to kind of just walk away, or do I have to go on this weird tour?
Up to you. I mean, you can
walk
you can
away.
leave the.
Yeah, I want to see the I want to see like if there's any sort of markets or any sort of streets
Yep,
where
there are markets. You think that out of the whole city, the whole town, you're starting to get the impression that maybe 2/3 of the population here have vanished or been killed or left. And so the town is much bigger than the amount of people here, and so the people seem to congregate in certain areas, and the markets which is near the slave markets. In fact, they kind of overlap in a way.
Oh, okay.
So it's easy enough for you to do that. Is there anything in particular that you're interested in purchasing or otherwise looking for?
I just want to walk around and look at the people, like look at the orcs and see,
Right.
I guess, like if I notice anything about them,
Sure.
like do they look like they are under influence of anything? Do they look
Right.
like they're hiding from something? Do they look completely unperturbed? Just
Well, you can make a perception check. And given that you're doing this over a period of time, I think advantage might be called for.
yay. Oh, that 20.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Overall, the most perturbed thing about the town is your presence. You guys are upsetting the natural order of things, clearly. The next biggest thing that's upsetting the natural order seems to be the presence of the Barakyle wizard here. Other than that, things seem to be going fairly normally or smoothly, you have the impression. I mean, there's nothing especially unusual except for the Orcan customs, manner, clothes, armor, weapons, interior design, lack thereof. Their emblems are, you're getting more and more familiar with their emblems, perhaps. You can see they're a very warlike culture, but this particular town seems to be on the back foot at the moment. So they don't have a lot in the way of defenses right now.
But there's not many like injured villagers or anything around, like people are not looking like they've been hurt recently in I guess a way that an orc.
I think that you'll find that even in normal Auckland town, everyone is going to be carrying some kind of injury. There's lots of injuries, lots of missing limbs and things. It's a war culture, so it's not unusual to see that here. But there are no homeless people.
No, they're all in pen.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds fair. Alright, but so overall nothing really seems that
Nothing
weird.
seems especially out of place.
Alright. I'll go back to seek out where Apples and the apprentice are.
Okay.
I'd like to try to pry the
Yeah.
apprentice.
Yeah.
The fact, so basically, I'm trying to question him in a way that he'll eventually expose the fact that he's buying slaves too, or that they're buying slaves from the orcs. And so, like, I'll ask, so how much do you think they normally pay to like buy one of these slaves? Or
He gives you pretty open answers. He explains how it all works. It tells you what what the prices would typically be for different types of slaves. I don't know whether you saw the journals or the entries earlier.
I didn't read them. I asked, I pointed at Sawtooth.
Right. So you, at this point, you don't know what the monetary values were in that ledger, so you can't compare them yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Eventually.
I just asked. So it has did I notice? Did they have any slaves in their tenements, their house, the thing we're staying in?
The Barrack Isle?
Yeah.
They actually do not.
Alright, so I'll ask. So you're I've noticed there were no.
I'm going to change that. They would have like maybe 2 or 3, and they're probably just orcs.
All right.
Very much just
So,
servants.
Then I'll just say. And so does your master frequently purchase slaves?
From time to time, they are required. Physical
Okay.
labor is always in short supply, but I will say our master, he does have some capacity to. I've said too much.
Oh yeah, no, by all means, nothing. Don't need to say anything you don't want to. I cast Zone of Truth on him.
Ooh.
No, I don't.
It's kind of like a ritual,
No, I don't.
yeah.
Zone of Truth's quite a big deal.
Stand in this circle and let's talk more. No.
And it's not invisible either.
Yeah, no. It's only day one. I'm not gonna pry too heavily.
All right. Very good. Any other
I
questions?
was saying, and you enjoy being an apprentice? You enjoy being an apprentice? No, you're not ashamed of any of your acts?
This is my life's work.
You can speak to me. I am basically a priest.
I see. You worship
Confess.
one of the mortal gods, I take it. That would be
I do,
the Morning
Lathander.
Lord. Is it not Lathander?
It is Lathander, yes.
We are not godless, as many would say, or consider us to be.
Are you free to choose your own?
I grew up on a farm on the Barrack Isle, in a small, one of 3 main townships about the island. I was able to pass the recruitment tests when I was 13.
Okay.
I am now
lovely.
26 years of age.
13 years as still an apprentice.
There is a lot to learn.
Don't miss home.
I am in service
Don't miss the farm.
to the order, and that is my life. It is the great work for us,
The great work.
indeed.
Well, that does sound admirable.
Yes, the great work is described to me as the transformation of oneself for betterment and the transformation of the world.
Sounds wonderful.
Indeed.
That's all I've got. That's me. Oh, yeah, I'll make small talk with him more.
Alright. You can make some kind of social check for that. Why don't we make it I guess just a persuasion check.
16.
Okay, yeah, he seems to like you. He seems to get on with you. I mean, overall, he's warmed up to you over the day. Alright.
Nice.
So, Maria, you got anything else you want to do right now?
So we're back at the slave pen. Is there any slaves that look like they're not orcish?
Yes, quite a few.
Can I approach any of them that look human, maybe?
Yep. There are some humans, but the orcs are kind of... the guards don't want anyone talking to them or touching them.
Can I try? So the guards are with us, as in like on the tour, or are they just guarding?
Well, they're guarding the slave pens.
Ah, okay, right. Do I see any that are kind of like a bit further away from the guards? Maybe that I can.
Tell you what, you can make an investigation check, see if you can find somebody that you can approach.
No, 3.
Unfortunately, they've got the place locked down. They don't want you talking to anyone.
Okay.
Not easily.
Okay, I'll save it for now, and I'll just keep observing. Maybe can I do a bit of a investigation of the area just to see if there's any other entrances and stuff like that I can come to later?
All right, you can try that.
There's another investigation.
Yep.
6.
Well, you see there might be a way up and around the back, but it looks like you'd have to do a lot of climbing and a lot of ducking and dodging and avoiding guards to use that means to enter. It seems like a bit much.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll just keep observing Apple's conversation.
Very good. And but the Sawtooth, what are you doing while this is all happening?
I will probably try and insert myself into whatever Lizanne's doing, if he allows me.
Yeah. He will spend some of the time sipping cold teas, and eating grapes with you and discussing whatever you want to talk about within reason. You can talk to him about any number of topics and things if you want. Is there anything particular you want to learn about?
So I'll tell him about some of my history and talk about the 150 odd years I've been a mercenary for, and yada yada yada, and just boast a lot about myself.
Right.
Try and.
Because you are a half elf, right?
High elf.
High elf. Right.
Yes,
You're
yeah.
a high elf. Fuck. Okay, so we've got a high elf and a dark elf and
Yeah.
an Asima. Okay. Fucking hell.
And none of them are acting as per their stereotypes either.
Oh no.
Right.
Alright, righteous dark elf.
Boastful. I guess.
Half elf's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a cowboy.
You're just a fancy boy. That's
You're
the only
a
thing.
cowboy. Yeah. And I don't know how angels act.
I think
After
we're meant to be very like you, basically. I think we need to swap.
all right. He does a bunch of paperwork. You see him making journal notes. He takes time out to go to his ritual chamber, and he closes that whole wing of the building when he does that.
Does his familiar hang around at all times?
The familiar keeps an eye on you. It stays in the room where the ledgers and the scrolls and stuff are.
Okay. I'm gonna take one of the grapes.
Yep.
Or are there any like nice dried meats or anything?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to the familiar as well and try and feed it. But while I'm doing this, is actually because we're on the 3rd floor, right?
Yeah.
I want to scope out like a proper layout of the town, from what I understand it. So
Right.
the distance of the stables, where I can see Nathalie's and Mr. Apples if they are still like present.
Right. I mean, they will have been present for some of the time, but when they get to the slave pens, that's a bit too far out of your visual range.
And I guess like so here's what I hope to achieve, and you can tell me what to roll to get as much as I want. So, how many guards are in town, from what I can see?
Okay. You would say that there would be probably less than 100 guards in the whole town.
That's probably about
Take it. You take
90
that.
too many still.
Right.
The red fangs.
Yep.
Do they come and go?
Yes.
Are the bats still present?
They do. They have a continuous presence of at least one red fang is always circling the town on a bat, 24/7.
They have essentially
They take shifts.
a tower that the bat
Yeah.
roosts at. Okay.
Yeah, there's like like an eyrie on top of the rampart walls, and it's built up with wood on top of the mud brick wall
Okay.
itself.
All right. And you said there was a stable in town, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not a stable in the kind of traditional sense of being a building. It's more like a fence that goes around in a big circle, and they stick all the horses in there.
How many horses we estimating?
There's dozens of horses in there.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's pretty much the information I wanted to kind of get an idea of.
You also conclude that whilst most of the farmlands around here seem to have been depleted, there is still some fertile land over by the river on the southeast bank of the town, southeast side of the town. And on that bank there's a few farms there still growing crops and things, and you can make out that sort of small fertile band along the side of the river and the edge of the town, just on one side.
Alrighty.
You can also see that the river itself has narrowed significantly, and the banks have been the river is well inside the banks of the actual riverbed, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay.
There's a few vessels on the river as well.
Oh, they have boats?
Yeah, like rafts.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of think Egyptian papyrusy rafty type business.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm essentially building in my head what kind of constraints we have on an escape attempt.
Right.
Because from what I can tell, and I'm verbalizing to everybody else here now as well, they can set chase on us on horseback, and they can definitely have to contend with at least a couple of the bats, which would outpace us. I'm imagining. So if we got a head start, we could probably outpace the horses, but we wouldn't be able to outpace the bats. So we'd need to be mindful of that. And then we also promised that we wouldn't lead anyone back to the mountain pass. So, and the river might be too dry to get good speed on if we were taking any of the rafts. Anyway, that's just what I'm thinking out loud.
All right.
And things to consider, because are we going to wrap up in a minute?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my plan. I will say the last thing that you probably notice at the end of day one is that you're noticing a heavier patrol of guards in your area now. As if it's like somebody has said, okay, double the guards in that district where those foreigners are.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
Good.
So if there's anything else anybody would like to do before we wrap up,
Not for now. I need to think.
have a think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's raid somebody.
Okay.
Seeing as it's the end of our session, let's see who would like a raid with 3 people. It's not much, not too much of a raid today, but hey, you got to try. Got to do these things. Where's my raid button? Let's raid a channel. I guess we will hit Dice Legend.
I'm not in it anyway. Catch us
No,
later.
unfortunately, not either.
All right.
Thank you for watching,
See
whoever's
you.
been watching.
So-
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. See you
Bye.
guys.
See you
We're
next time.
raiding in
See you next
5,
time.
4, 3, 2, 1. Bye. And end stream.